Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Stranded Gamers Podcast, Episode 3. I'm Nathan, I'm joined again by Ken.
What's up, guys? Ken here.
And this time we're going to be talking about the PS5, as me and Ken bought Goblin recently.
Yeah.
We're also talking about some PS5 games, most notably Demon's Souls and Spider-Man and Miles Morales. So Ken, PS5, what are your thoughts?
It's pretty big.
It is a big fucking chunker.
Yeah.
It is.
Bit of a chunker of a console, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. I was quite shocked how big it was. Like, I saw, obviously, photos of it online, and I goes, it was pretty big. But then, in person, I was like, wow, man, this is, like, almost as tall as, like, my desktop, like.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is very big, a very big boy. And, like, I knew that, like, you know, we kind of knew that going in. Like, they did say it was going to be, like, you know, there were images and stuff out there, like, of how big it was and all that. But it's just, like, when you see it in person, you go, damn, it's even, you know, like, it might be the biggest console I own, I think. Like, it's, you know, rivals, like, original Xbox, which is pretty crazy, because that thing's like a fucking VCR. So, it's pretty big, like, it's a pretty big heckin' chunker of a console. I've been sitting vertically, because I don't have a room for it, like, horizontal. I just can't, like, store it like that, so I have to have it vertical at the moment.
I'm the same, yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah,
It's up.
and it's like between the two, I think it does, you know, it does look better vertically, I think. The stand helps it, I think, you know, it helps make it a bit easier to, you know, maneuver in that sense.
What do you think about the way it actually looks? Because it's grown on me quite a bit.
Like, I don't know, like, it's, I will say, like, I don't hate it. I kind of hated it at first. I don't really hate it now, but I still think it's kind of like, it's just a really, I think it's just a really bizarre design. Like, they're definitely going for the whole, like, futuristic feel to it. Like this is a console from the future, you know, which I get. But to me, it's like, I don't know. At times it's like I do think it can look a little silly looking. It does kind of remind me of like an internet router or something like that. Just or like
A really big router.
yeah, really big router. Or like, I don't know, like a hard drive with two white slabs on it or something. Really big hard drive, of course. But it's just, it's just, I don't know. It's a strange, it's an interesting design, but it's, I don't know. It has, it's like, it's hard. It's kind of hard to describe. It's just hard to describe, like, looking at it. Like, I mean, what are your kind of thoughts on it yourself, having it now?
Like, at the start when I first saw in, like, the PS5 reveal, I was kind of, like, disappointed. I was
Same.
like, whoa, this is, because I just thought it'd be more like the PS4, kind of like a simple kind of square box almost. But,
yeah, exactly. Well, we're so,
I
yeah.
I do kind of, I guess, respect what they're going for. Like, it's definitely out there.
Yeah, it's different.
Definitely stands out. Definitely. I understand why it's so big, because of, you know, the fan is probably the main reason, because it's the console can get quite hot, I find.
That's true. Yeah, especially if you use it like extended kind of periods.
Yeah.
Gaming.
Yeah. But it never gets, like, kind of loud, like kind of fan wise, which is pretty good, because the PS4 got pretty loud.
That's true. Yeah, the PS4 could get quite loud at times. That's true.
But overall, kind of design, it's grown on me. I do wish it was a bit more kind of compact.
Yeah, definitely. It could have. I mean, it's like, I suppose it depends on, like, how big the parts were when they were, like, making it and all that, and, like, how to fit it in as,
Yeah.
you know, as you said, kind of compact a form as possible. Maybe this was as small as they could have went. Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know. I'm no tech person, so I don't know obviously don't know the inner workings of the fucking PS5. But I don't know. I do wish it was, like, even just a little bit smaller, maybe. It is a pretty big. It is a bit of a behemoth, like.
I do wish it was all black though.
Yeah, it'd be nice if there was, like, an all black variant. I mean,
yeah.
You know, if you could just get, like, two black slabs for it or something. You know, the way, like, you can peel off the kind of the
The covers.
The covers, yeah, exactly. And if you could get like black covers for it instead,
I think you can. I think you can.
I definitely I remember hearing something about it. I thought Sony were like going after it, but I guess not.
They like shut down one company.
Okay.
And then do you know D-Brand?
D-Brand is that like the company?
I think they make like phone cases.
Okay.
They've made their own covers. And apparently these covers, like, Sony can't sue them. Like, that's part of, like, their marketing is, try and sue us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty ballsy, to be fair.
That is pretty ballsy.
Yeah.
Actually, I was not aware of that. That's kind of...
Like, I'm not sure how D-Brand are, like, in terms of size of company, but, like, I don't think you want to fuck with Sony.
Yeah,
like.
Sony isn't,
Yeah.
That's definitely going,
Yeah,
that's definitely kicking the hornet's nest a bit.
But like, I feel like a year or two there will be like a kind of black version as we start to get these kind of different console versions, like maybe like a God of War, like a Horizon version. But they're like inevitable.
Yeah, I think so.
But
God of War,
I think
absolutely God of War.
Absolutely. I think my favorite part about the console is the controller. It is, my favorite controller.
Ever, really?
Ever, yeah. Like, and I loved like the old Xbox 360 controller.
Yeah, that's definitely a classic.
But this one is just like the weight and like this kind of quality of it is just, it feels so nice in my hands. And just and I think it looks pretty cool too. It's a bit bigger than the Ps4 DualShock.
Yeah.
But it definitely works. It's so nice to hold, and like I said, the weight of it is almost like perfect for me anyway. And the haptic feedback is the big part of it. Haptic feedback it's pretty cool.
It's pretty sick. Yeah, it's
pretty sick.
When you first kind of do stuff that like revolves around it, it's like you kind of go, man, that's pretty sick. like say I don't know why. Like
Astro's Playroom is probably like the best example of game that uses it like so
true.
well.
Astro's Playroom,
because it was built for that for the controller, but like playing that game and like walking over a fan and kind of feeling like the wind on like the kind of right side of your palm.
Yeah, exactly.
It's wild. It's wild.
When you go, or like when you go to the beach level and the little like grains of sand, you could kind of hear them on the controller. It's really cool. Yeah. Like that. There's like really cool sound design in it, and like and I really love like one thing that I really loved when I was playing like Astro's Playroom is like there's like a little claw machine mini game I remember, and it's like every time you put in a coin you can get like these little capsules, and like when you're like pushing down more you're exerting like more pressure on it, and it's just like I don't know, it's like really cool. You're kind of breaking it a little more and more as you're like pressing down on it until it like completely breaks, and it's like I'm just like that's so cool. Like I know it's just a little thing, but it's just a really cool little thing. I was like,
it does really immerse you.
Yeah, exactly. I was just like that is pretty sick. And there's like other uses like in the game. Like every level has like in that game has not to go too off topic and go into that game too much, but like every level in that game has like a little motion control kind of gimmick, kind of element, I suppose. Like I remember there's one that's like a frog that like bounces around or whatever, and use the motion controls in the controller and press R2 using like the haptic feedback to kind of judge how much you can like judge your kind of jump distance and all that. It's cool. Like I just think it's really cool. Or like when you pick, there's like an arrow that you can you get like a bow and arrow, and like just how much you hold down R2 kind of like, again, it just, you feel the pressure of it, and it's really cool. Like so
it is a very cool feature which I feel like is kind of missing from like the Xbox, which is just we're like a brand new generation. What's like your new cool kind of gimmick, and Xbox don't really have that.
Xbox are just like we got a fridge though. We got the fridge.
Yeah, exactly.
We got the fridge, bro. Yeah, I mean,
we have Game Pass.
We have
that's what Xbox
Smart Delivery. That's pretty cool. I don't know if that's.
I guess
that's not like it's definitely not like a next gen defining feature, but it's a good thing to have. Like I mean that's that's something I can think of. Like, but or like that 60 FPS
Game Boost.
yeah, the game boost technology that they have. That's pretty cool.
But in terms of, I'm saying like hardware.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Like, you know,
I know that.
it's just the like Series X controller is just the
Yes.
Xbox One controller with a share button now, which is pretty much it. Like,
Whoa.
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 But like PS5 is not a perfect console. It has
Absolutely
a couple,
not.
I think, flaws and a couple kind of issues.
Caveats.
And yeah, and from personal experience, the like disk drive gets pretty loud.
Yeah, I've only had that happen like recently, but I have noticed
Yeah.
some disc based, because we both have the disc based PS5, and when you like I've only noticed it recently, and it's like sometimes the fan can get a little loud, like the console itself can just get a little loud.
I think it's just the disk drive, but not the fan.
Oh, okay, right.
I think it is just a disk
Never mind.
drive.
I'm stupid, but I hear the console get pretty loud, and it can be weird, like because it would happen for just maybe like a minute or something, and then it might wind down again. Which I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a little strange. I'm not sure why it does
It happens to me when I put in a disc and then it starts up, which is kind of fine. It's kind of
That
normal.
makes sense.
I almost assume, but then it happens kind of like midway through the game, and then
It's a random points.
if I have like another game downloading, and when that download finishes, it happens then, which is really strange.
That's bizarre. Yeah.
It should not do that.
I've just had it happen at like random intervals, but then again, I'm not paying like too much attention to what I'm doing when it like happens. But I've just had it happen randomly, and I'm always like, that's like, why is it doing that? And it's only happened, I think, like 2 or 3 times for me. It's not like it's not happening like all the time, but it's just the odd time it can, and it's weird.
It isn't every time I put in a disc.
Yeah.
It is constant, but when the disc is out, it's gone. It's quiet.
Yeah. Bit bizarre.
Also, the kind of the UI of the PS5 is I think almost a step backwards.
I think it's a mixed bag. I think
Yeah.
it's a bit of a mixed bag.
Like now it's kind of a small gripe, but it's still a gripe. Like in the PS4, you're playing a game, you press the home button on the controller, and you're back to the dashboard straight away.
You're back to the home UI.
But now you have to hold it,
Yeah.
which is kind of something I have to get used to. I don't know why they would change that.
Yeah, if you press it, it brings up like game base? Is that what it's called?
The Action Center.
Action Center, that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it brings.
And that's another thing. The game base, like to just like see your friends, is just a bit more like, a couple more steps here and there. Just really like just annoying. You have to kind of scroll down a long list of like your party chats, and then see your friends online.
Find that particular friend maybe.
Yeah, it's just
more hassle.
These kind of small things kind of add up to like a more almost clunky interface, which I don't really understand why they would make these kind of choices. It's not like it's not like streamlined anymore. It's just kind of more steps for the sake of more steps.
Like. They're definitely going a lot more for like those that like cards feature, which is like which I don't hate, like per se, like it's not a
I just don't use personally.
Yeah, it's like it's not a bad idea, but it's not something I'm kind of like. I do like to earn trophies and stuff in games, but some of these aren't even like trophy related. They're just random objectives in the game, and you're just like, I don't know if I need all of this information. But there are, like, I don't personally use them, but at the same time, there can be like, if you click on a card and you want to find like a little hint or something, and there's like a little video there. That's kind of neat because it will show you, like, it'll guide you kind of like what to do in the game. Like if you're stuck on a particular part, you click on the card and it'll kind of show you a bit of a guide on what to do. It's like, well, that's kind of handy if you get stuck. You don't have to like go to YouTube and look up some random video that doesn't even tell you what to actually do. Like, and they might spend 5 minutes talking about whatever else. So like it's neat, and I get the idea of it, but it does make the it's weird because some things feel like, I think Friends, for example, as you said, just it's like that part of it is like more clunky, like inviting your friends, making parties, like it just feels weirdly a little more clunky than it did on PS4, which is like, it's weird. That's a weird thing to kind of like have go backwards somewhat.
Yeah,
You know,
it is.
and like even accessing like this is just a thing for me personally, but like accessing trophies as well is kind of like a more just tedious experience. Like you always have to go into like your profile and like check it from there. Again, it's just kind of like you can I'm pretty sure you can bring it up from the action center thing, but it's like if you want to look at like your actual list, you have to go through your profile and everything, and it's just again a bit more of a hassle. But like the UI in general isn't. I don't think it's terrible. It's just there's weird things, like weird.
No, it's definitely not terrible. But I do think, like I say, it's like a step back from the PS4s. Like the PS4s wasn't perfect either, but
Yeah.
I don't see why you wouldn't improve on it instead of, I think, going backwards.
Yeah, that's true. And I also find like I did kind of prefer the way like on PS4 that like the games were kind of like the little boxes and like cards for the games were like they were bigger.
They were big, yeah.
They were big. You
yeah.
knew what you were clicking on, and
You
I
knew
know,
that. Yeah,
I know on PS5, like when you highlight a game, there's a big like background, like a wallpaper that shows you the game. But I don't know. I still kind of prefer I prefer if the boxes, like the little boxes, were a bit bigger as well, just so you can be absolutely sure of what you're clicking on. Because sometimes the wallpaper doesn't tell you what game it is. It might just be like something that kind of correlates to the game somewhat.
I'd also like my own kind of theme for like the entire the dashboard, which I do miss.
It seems like all I don't know how Xbox is doing things with Series X. I assume it's just the same as Xbox One.
I think it's like the exact same.
Yeah, because I know they want to streamline things a lot.
And they want that kind of almost iPhone kind of model of
Yeah.
you buy the next Xbox and it's just.
But
it's on like kind of a new generation. Everything's kind of like going into one kind of.
Xbox is like an
system.
ecosystem, not just like a platform.
Yeah,
of course.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
they want you to buy Game Pass, not just like
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
But like with PlayStation and also like Nintendo, it's weird like the themes are just something that's they like, that was cool, but like we don't really want to do that now. And it's like I don't get it. Like it's like such a small, cool, like personal thing that you can have. Like it adds a bit of personality to your not just to like the UI, but just to your own console. Like it gives it a bit more of a flavor, a bit more of your own personal kind of touch. I love PS4 themes. I think they're great. I had many that I like. There was like I had like a Kingdom Hearts one that I really loved, and like there was one for like Mirror's Edge Catalyst that I thought was like just it was really nice to like turn it on, and like it was just like really nice like ambient music and stuff, and it's just a cool theme that you could have every time you like turned on your PS4. But like with PS5, it's just everybody kind of has the same generic experience, and like it's it's fine. Maybe they'll add them in later, but
Maybe.
It's just a weird. It just feels like a weird omission. I like why would you not have it at launch? I don't know, or even just like a couple months down the lane. It's just it doesn't seem like something that'd be like that crazy. But hopefully down the road, we'll get themes. But I don't like that no consoles right now let you actually have your own like current gen consoles that you have your own like custom themes. It's bizarre. I think Xbox does. I'm not sure. Or like with Xbox you can have like a wallpaper or something. Wow, crazy. But yeah. It's just another like weird little like setback, I don't get that.
I feel like we definitely are experiencing those like early adopter kind of issues.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of knew that going in, but it was just that thing of it's kind of cool to have a console early on. At the same time, though, it's like it's cool, but also you are going to have some of those like. Again, like early adopter
kind
issues,
gripes.
Yeah, early gripes, yeah. That hopefully will get sorted out.
You had an issue with your controller.
Yeah, very weird issue because it's kind of gone. It's kind of gone now. But I think for like a day or two, my controller was like experiencing it wasn't drift or anything, because I have heard people talk about like drift in regards to the DualSense, which is also kind of worrying. But I just randomly like I was playing like Demon Souls, and my character would kind of like say I was moving the stick all the way forward, like I was just holding it down myself. My character would like sometimes just walk a little bit and then run and then walk a little bit and then run, and it was like I had no control over that. Like there was no, like my inputs were just not being registered correctly. I'd press circle to sprint, and like sometimes I sprint, then they kind of stop a little bit. I might sprint, stop a little bit. Just very, very bizarre. I have no idea where, like, what the issue was. And like, I tried like a few other games. Like I tried Miles Morales. It was kind of having the same issue. Astro had the same issue. I even tried like this old, it was like this old Star Wars game, Bounty Hunter, that I was playing from PS4, and I tried that. And like that was having the same issue, and I was like, I have no idea what was wrong with it. But like now I'm playing it again, and it's like it's fine. There's that issue's gone, but I'm kind of thinking, it's just, why did it happen in the first place?
So strange.
Yeah, why did it? Like I'm not making this up. It's just like a weird thing of like, it was just happening really weirdly, and Demon Souls I remember was really annoying. Because it was actually almost getting me killed sometimes,
and like that's kind of one of the games you don't want to happen, because like it could set you back a bit.
Yeah, exactly. You might lose. You could lose anywhere from maybe 10 minutes of progress to maybe even an hour. So it's like,
and like losing all those souls would be so fucking frustrating.
Exactly. Yeah, or like getting to a boss and dying because of it. It's like, it sucks. It really sucks. And I have no idea why that happened or how it happened. But like I think like it was like probably I think I stopped playing the PS5 for like a day or two after it happened. Then I played it again, picked it up, it was fine, no issue. But I have no idea what happened, and it was very strange. But it was something that I was like, I feel like I have to share it, because it's like, I'm curious if anybody else out there had that issue. Like is that any, has anybody had a similar issue to me with that? Or like, are they having an ongoing issue with it? Like, is it not just, is it something that might come up again? I hope not. But I can't help but be a little worried about it. I don't really want to buy another DualSense controller for like 70 euro. But, if worst comes to worst, maybe I'd have to. I don't know. Hopefully not.
Yeah, I think the like whole drift issue is pretty worrying.
Yeah.
Like we're seeing quite a few videos online about people's controllers like just drifting, which is just like, wow.
How is this like, how are two console manufacturers, like two companies, like, because obviously we had Nintendo, like that was a huge issue with Nintendo, and they were actually pretending it was, if it was like, oh, that doesn't exist. What are you talking about?
Yeah. It's actually a feature, would you believe?
It's a feature, yeah. It's and it's just like, it's like, I don't know how you can like just pretend it's not a real problem when it fucking clearly is, and not do something about it. Fix your shitty fucking Joy-Con controllers.
Did you ever have any issues with Joy-Cons drifting?
Not that I know of. I did have a Joy-Con break before, so I replaced that. But that was on my own volition, nothing to do with Nintendo's own manufacturing.
They're off the hook this time.
They're off the hook this time, yeah. Hopefully that replacement one, or just my old one, doesn't drift. But I haven't really had that issue yet. But I'm still, I'm worried maybe it could happen. Who knows? Like, Switch is still a recent enough console. Like, but yeah, it's just. But like, say, yeah, with the PS5 though, the fact that we're hearing about that already is kind of worrying. Like, I mean, it's at least with
definitely
at the very least with Nintendo, it was like, I think it was like maybe a couple, like, I don't remember hearing about it in like 2017. Some people probably had it, I'm sure, but I didn't really remember hearing much about Joy-Con drift like right away. I feel like it wasn't until like maybe 2018, 2019 I kind of started to hear about it. But the fact we're already hearing like people saying, "Oh, my DualSense is drifting," like like a couple months after the PS5 drops, it's like, Jesus Christ. It's not great.
It's like, I mean, they surely tested these controllers like pretty thoroughly, like, so I'm sure they are aware of the issues. It's just a case of like, if we will get like kind of a DualSense like almost refreshed with like new tech in it,
it could be
that kind of stops it.
I mean, manufacturing errors too with,
It could be.
Yeah, just the way things are in the world, like, it might have made things a little harder to. I guess.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to like even manufacture a PS5, let alone maybe the controllers.
Yeah, exactly,
I don't know.
exactly. With
I also wish the controllers like battery life was a bit longer. I think it's like 4 hours, like the DualShock 4.
yeah, I feel
Um,
to me if I feel like it lasts a bit longer than, but it could get worse over time. But I feel like at the moment I feel like it lasts a bit longer than like a DualShock 4.
I feel like to me, I have it on charge quite a bit.
That's fair.
Um,
Because I definitely had like pretty long sessions where the controller would last, like at least 5-6 hours. I definitely had it last that long. But I don't know. Maybe I'm not sure. Like I mean, I get it could be.
maybe that's my
Yeah,
dual
it could be
sense
it could be a
issue.
controller
Maybe.
by controller basis.
Yeah, which is that would be really worrying.
Yeah, yeah.
If it
But
was.
I feel like I
Yeah.
definitely had it last 5-6 hours at least.
I think 4 is like the max for me. It's been.
Yeah, damn, that's bizarre. Because I've definitely gotten like one or two games I've played on PS5 that I've like gotten carried away playing, and I wouldn't have realized the time go by. It would have been, say I started playing like 6-7, and by the time I'm done it's like, oh, it's like 2 a.m. But I wouldn't have plugged in the controller that whole time, and I would have kept it on.
Yeah.
Even longer. So like sometimes like I probably could have gotten 7-8 hours, probably more.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. That's bizarre. I mean, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the issue is on your end in that regard, but um, I've definitely had it last a little while. But I suppose a lot of it is just manufacturing issues. I mean, it probably is quite hard to like. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a rush launch.
Yeah,
Almost like I don't want to say
I
I
agree.
don't want to say botched, but it was probably pretty rushed. Like
I mean, it's really hard to even like get a console in that regard. I think
yeah,
they could have done better. I mean, they could have maybe delayed it until. I guess you don't want it to delay it past
they
December,
probably they
because
probably
you want that kind of holiday rush of getting one.
exactly. You don't.
Like I feel like we could have waited another year for a PS5.
Yeah, that's true. I was kind of surprised that we did get a 2020 release. Like I was kind of expecting like them to be delayed, like both Xbox and PS5. I thought they were gonna get
Yeah.
delayed into 2021 a little bit. Probably holiday that year, so a year delay probably. But it seems like we did get the console. At times it can kind of feel like some people would be like, oh, it's almost like we're beta testers. In some scenarios, like
Yeah.
just with some things with the console. And that did worry me. Like I mean, the price was it's not the cheapest console out there. Like 500 isn't. It's not the worst the console's ever been at launch, of course, but like it's pricey. Like it's not super cheap. And it's
I think price to performance is actually pretty good,
that's
because
true. Yeah.
I thought, like, when we heard the kind of rumors of like what is actually in these consoles, I was thinking like maybe 600-700 euro.
Mm,
But I think 5 is a pretty reasonable price to ask.
that's true. No, that's true. I can agree with that. Like for what you get in terms of like hardware and like performance in a lot of games, it's like yeah, it's impressive tech.
Yes. Yes.
Like I can at least be like, look, 500's quite a pill to swallow probably for a lot of people, but and that's understandable like with the way things are. But I was also kind of like, yeah, look, I mean, I'm okay with being an early adopter because the games I'm sure are going to be really good, and like just the technical specifications are impressive enough for you. Like, all right, this is probably worth the money. I mean, it's probably more powerful than my PC is right now, and that's considering I can have a lot of that power just in a console. Like that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is,
That
yeah.
you can have just, and it will be obsolete probably in a couple of years, of course. But like at the for a while, it's probably going to be pretty decent. It's going to keep up pretty decently with PC for at least a little bit. Just in terms of like games like that are coming out. But all consoles do get outdated at some stage. But compared to how PS4 and Xbox One were in 2013, they're definitely, I think, the PS5 and the Series X are definitely on a much higher. I would say they're at a much higher performance rate compared to how those consoles were when they dropped.
Because they were like underpowered.
Xbox One was quite underpowered, and that's not even me being like, oh, Xbox, but that was definitely pretty underpowered. PS4 was probably a bit too, but I remember a lot of people saying the Xbox One was a pretty hard sell when that first came out, because
like
a lot of games were like 900p. It couldn't even do 1080 in a lot of them.
And the console was also maybe more expensive.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it wasn't even just Don Matric and like online DRM. Like, that sucked. But I mean, even the console itself, it just wasn't really all that powerful. It wasn't that impressive.
No.
Some of the games it was pushing were like pretty graphically impressive. But considering the fact it couldn't even do 1080p on a lot of them, I mean, come on, that's not very next gen. So like at least with these consoles, like with Series X and PS5, you can say that you're getting pretty beefy consoles for the price you're paying, and they're gonna stay fairly beefy for a little while. Like, sure, they're probably gonna, say, I mean, definitely 6-7 years time they're gonna look pretty outdated, but that's to be expected whenever you get to that stage. But for a couple of years at least, they're gonna keep up pretty good, I think, and they're gonna just last. Their lifespan is going to be pretty. Games are gonna look pretty damn good in these, I'd say. So.
Speaking of games, we've played some on the PS5.
That is true. I mean, that's probably why we bought it. So
I hope so.
yeah, I'm not. I mean, sure, I can look at it. It's whatever. But yeah.
It plays Netflix really good.
Plays Disney Plus so well, man. Look at the
yeah.
Man, I can see every last pixel of resolution on the Mandalorian. on cats.
This anime looks amazing on my PS5.
Yeah, the graphics, wow. But yeah, I mean, there's really, when you think of PS5 launch exclusives, I mean, Demon Souls.
Demon Souls
Demon Souls is the one to beat. It is the premiere, and yeah, I know you'd be like, oh, but it's a PS3 game, and it's like, yeah, obviously, but. I mean, the graphical facelift is... Wow.
Whoa, yeah. That game might be the best looking game I've seen ever. It is just...
It's probably up there.
Stunning.
It's up there, yeah.
It's stunning, like, yeah.
There are times I was genuinely kind of, like, blown away by how good that game looked.
I think it's environments. Like, you might say something for, like, the facial animations of, like, maybe, like, The Last of Us Part 2.
Of course.
Might be a bit better.
That's not fair,
but yeah, to be fair, but like the environments are just, and the details just out of this world.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I mean, it was probably one of the reasons I even got the game. So like, I was not really a big like Souls guy. Like I could never really. I always found those games kind of hard to get into, and that's just because I'm, I didn't really understand them. Like just the way they worked, I don't know, just didn't click with me. But I was willing to give Demon Souls a shot because it was, it is the first Souls game. So I was thinking, okay, this one might be a decent starting point for someone like me. And it'd be cool to just kind of see like where the whole kind of Souls genre kind of started. I mean, I came out of I went in expecting to get frustrated and maybe drop it, and I came out of it being like, yeah, this is this has come pretty close to making the console like justifiable already. Like I thought it was that good personally.
High praise,
It's not a perfect game. It definitely has issues.
God no,
it's not a perfect game by any stretch, but. I think it was the first Souls game I could honestly say that I loved. Like I was like that game was like just so damn good. And it definitely has its issues in some areas, but I was kind of I just consistently kept having fun with it throughout most of it. It frustrated me at times, like but but just I was in awe of like so many of the environments and like a lot of the areas were fun to explore, and just the loop just kind of finally clicked for me. I kind of got it, and I just became addicted. Like I was playing the game for like hours on end. So
Cause like you've tried like Bloodborne before, and have you tried like Sekiro and like it was the Dark Souls one you tried before?
I've tried, yeah, exactly. I've tried what is it, Dark Souls 1. I've tried I played Bloodborne for like half an hour and didn't really know what to do, and then just dropped it, which a lot of people would be like, Christ.
Yeah, for me being like that game is my favorite game. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like that was back in like 2016 when I got my PS4, and I happened to get Bloodborne was like one of the games I happened to get. I tried it and I just didn't really know what I was doing, and I just kind of ended up dropping it like pretty quickly. And now I want to go back and like actually play it. Like I've
Did you get past the like kind of first street with like full of enemies?
I don't remember. I remember. Yeah, I know it's pretty laughable because like the only Souls game I think I really gave much of a
It's not because like I've heard that before where people are like I couldn't get past the first area of enemies.
I can't even
It's
say that.
actually quite common for that game, to be fair.
I mean, I assume because it's probably like it's like people that don't know much about Souls or like From Software's games. Like they probably just go in and they think it's gonna be one way, and then they find out it's like, oh, this is actually hard. I don't want to play this. So
because like in that game, you make a character, and that's it. Just go out there and fight a fucking like big giant wolf, and then go down this street and get fucked up by enemies, and like you don't know what you're doing, where you're going. You like it's just they can be kind of frustrating and confusing, but like you said, once they click, and you're
exactly
hooked.
Yeah. I mean, as I like the only Souls game I'd put much of any time into before Demon Souls was the original Dark Souls. But even that game, like I remember I just kept getting lost and didn't really know where to go and just kept dying, and I was like 12, 13 when I played that, and I just found it frustrating. Like I wanted to get into it, but it was just a thing of like the game didn't make a lot of sense to my little peanut brain, so my little monkey brain. So I just kind of ended up dropping it. But I do plan on playing it now, playing the remaster on PC probably. And maybe like going through the rest of the series. Like Bloodborne, I definitely plan to go back into. I'll play it on PS5 probably. I even bought the Old Hunters DLC because I love Demon Souls so much. I want to go back and play the rest of them. Even Dark Souls 2. I know that one's a bit of a black sheep, but like it's apparently still a pretty good game. So I
am currently playing through Dark Souls 2, and it definitely has its
faults,
issues,
yeah.
but it's still a pretty good game. Like
I mean, because like I've been even looking into like how some of the games were made, and it's interesting, like because I mean, say like Demon Souls for example, I think it's crazy that game launched as like a PS5, not just a PS5 exclusive, but as a launch game. I'm kind of crazy that it even happened because like you go back to like how, and I know it's like Souls is really popular now, and I know that it's like revered now and like looked at with such respect, but I mean when Demon Souls originally dropped back in like 2009 in Japan, like that game bombed. Like nobody cared about it, and it's like it didn't review all that well, and like apparently Shuhei Yoshida hated it, and it's just like it's crazy that like the game, like the series even took off at all. I think Demon Souls was like, that game is probably looked back on now. That's like it was like a cult hit. When it came out in like the West, and then Dark Souls was the one that really like kickstarted things. I think for From Software,
it definitely refined some aspects of Demon Souls and improved upon it, and just had like a better world to explore. I think, and a better, much better, I think, boss fights.
But Demon Souls paved the way for it. You can't there's no Dark Souls without demons. And 100%. And I still I think the game does still deserve like a lot of respect. And I think it's still really good. It's still a really great game, and I do think the bosses aren't perfect, but the ones that are good I do really like. There are some really good bosses, I think. It's
Yeah, so let's get into like the good and the bad of Demon's Souls, I think.
exactly of the PS5 remake. Because
Yeah,
we should also talk about how good Blue Point how good Blue Point's remake is in general. Because as we said, visually it's stunning. It is stunning. Like
it is stunning.
one of the best looking games I have probably seen. Just from I still think like Upper Latria can look kind of like jaw dropping at times. Like it's pretty incredible. I think.
Because like the draw this is just like keeps going.
Yeah, you just see so much, and it's like
yeah, it is phenomenal.
it's crazy to think like not that long ago. Like obviously we weren't around, but like only 30 years ago, games were like 16-bit or like 8-bit, like pixel art kind of games. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's a place for those kinds of games. A lot of them are great, but it's crazy to see how far things have like advanced in a pretty short space of time. Like 30 years it's not that long. Like imagine how things are gonna look in another 30 years.
Oh man, photorealistic. Like,
Pretty.
I think
I think we're getting there already.
Yeah, we are getting there.
Which
But yeah, I think Demon's Souls overall, as I am a pretty big Souls fan, I think
that's fair.
I like Bloodborne is my favorite game, and I recently played through that and Dark Souls 1, and such incredible games.
Yeah, they're the high bar.
And I was really eager to see kind of how they started out.
Yeah, because you never played the original Demon's Souls. Yeah.
Never, no. So this remake was a good way to see how that series started
Pretty
off.
much, yeah.
And I like the game quite a bit. I don't love the game as much as I love Dark Souls and Bloodborne.
That's fair, yeah.
I think it has a couple of issues which are kind of cemented in that game's kind of period of time it came out.
I was going to say, do you think a lot of your issues with Demon's Souls kind of stem from the fact that you played its kind of you played its successors? So like you're going back to
exactly,
you're going back to it with the mindset of kind of like you've already played a lot of like their really like well regarded revered stuff. Not that Demon's Souls isn't, but like it's it was the first of its kind, I suppose. So like it probably is going to feel dated in some aspects, or just like rough around the edges, like in some regards. Because like as well with this remake, they didn't really do. I think they definitely did things to modernize it, but in terms of just like the actual design, I think it feels pretty identical. Because I did play a bit of the PlayStation 3 version of Demon's Souls to compare, because I actually wanted to go back and see how that was. And it definitely, they stuck to that blueprint a lot. And that maybe that's for better or for worse, but I understand you don't want to change it in the risk of like alienating the original fans who might want things to be similar. But obviously then you've like art direction and stuff like that, but that's another kettle of fish.
But for me, I think the things I enjoyed about Demon's Souls are the things I enjoy about Souls games in general, like that try and try again until you succeed. And I love grinding in these kind of games, but Demon's Souls is a bit harder. Like enemies generally give you like kind of fuck all souls. So that was kind of hard to adjust to at the start.
Yeah.
Like when I first started the game, I played the royal class, and I wasn't having a ton of fun.
That's understandable, yeah.
I got like an hour in, and then I just said, you know what, start again as a knight, and then it kind of kicked off, because I think I wanted that kind of sword up, kind of slow style of combat.
Yeah.
And the knight does give you that. So then I started playing as a knight and kind of just never looked back and got really into it then when I started kind of finding the areas to grind and level up and then go fucking smack bosses. Also, like me and you, Ken, we played some co-op.
Yeah, we did, and it was
which was an absolute ton of fun.
Yeah, it was actually really good fun.
Absolute ton of fun. We played for like 7 hours straight, I think. Once.
Yeah, we didn't notice the time going.
Ton of fun.
I think it was like about 7 hours straight, I'd say.
Yeah, I think the game, like I said, visually looks amazing. We don't have to keep going on about
Yeah,
that.
it's hard not to gush though.
I
It's hard not to gush.
I do like the world it's set in. It is definitely a bit more kind of fantasy
Yeah,
than like let's say a Dark Souls or like a Sekiro or Bloodborne. It's definitely more kind of that kind of high fantasy almost.
yeah, like kind of like
Um,
almost like a Lord of the Rings esque kind of world.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
with Boletaria and all that.
It's not the most depressing world.
No.
Whereas like Dark Souls and especially Bloodborne are quite depressing environments to be in. But Demon Souls just kind of goes for that kind of more just kind of traditional fantasy world.
Yeah.
And it works pretty well.
No, I think it does. Yeah, there's still a lot of like kind of charm to its world and just like I don't know, the like a lot of the designs and stuff. You can argue whether or not you prefer how From Software designed things in the original game, but I think just in terms of how it looks, it does. It translates really well to like a modern kind of visual style, and like the game. If you said if you said this was just like a new game, like you could totally believe it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't just be like, oh, this is definitely based off a game from 2008. You might if you played the whole thing, then you might be able to see some cracks, but in terms of just how it looks and like the visual design, like and like the way the world kind of comes together, it does. It's just really well done. Like it's got a really great just atmosphere, I think.
I think From are quite good at making these kind of fucked up, grotesque looking monsters, but also have a realm of like elegance to their
and like
games
intrigue,
and
yeah.
their art and their art design. And I feel because like you, I went back to the OG Demon Souls and played a bit of it after the fact, and I definitely prefer some of the original designs for like the officials or like the Flame Lurker for instance.
Exactly, yeah.
And I feel like Blue Point might have taken too much of a liberty art wise to kind of change those
Yeah,
designs.
kind of like a Western take or like a
Yeah, definitely westernized.
yeah.
Yeah, like the Flame Lurker went from being kind of this kind of banged up looking kind of demon to just Satan.
Yeah, or
Pretty
like a
much.
World of Warcraft monster or something.
Yeah, it's good boy. Yeah, yeah.
It looks quite generic in the new
Yeah.
version. I think his like even just where you fight him looks kind of generic.
Yeah.
It definitely had more of a cooler vibe to it. Like now it's just like a big fire palace looking thing. And it's like, yeah, it's fine, but I don't know. It does lose some of the. I think it does lose some of the. I don't know, just like atmosphere of the original, or just like sense of place, like where you kind of like you're looking around and you kind of can get a real feel for the environments and where you are. Like sometimes with the PS5 version, it's like, I don't know. There's like a weird thing of it's just like, where am I? I don't know how to know how to explain it, but it's just so some of the environments just they look a little generic. Though I will say like some areas are completely nailed. Like I think all of World 1 is like great. There's not like that entire area is like honestly kind of really good, I think. Like the gates of Boletaria and all of that that follows is like really good.
It is kind of just like, here's your big fucking castle area, like go explore it.
It's just a really solid world through. I don't think there's really any low points.
I think Hearthstone 5 is weakest.
Yeah, I mean it's Hearthstone 5 is like I think 5.1 is probably my least favorite area in the game. I do think 5.2 can be a little dull, but there's just something about 5.1 that kind of pisses me off. It's like every time I play it, I just go, this fucking place again. Just
Hearthstone 5 is kind of like that kind of blight town of Demon Souls almost. It's just extremely fucking annoying. Or like the gutter in like Dark Souls 2 for reference.
I can still enjoy it because Demon Souls mechanics wise is still a good game. I can still enjoy the area in terms of just like the combat and stuff, but in terms of like going through it, it can be a bit of it can be a pretty tedious experience, tedious exercise.
Hope you like getting poisoned.
Getting poisoned or plagued or
plagued,
or having like those, you like you get their pattern of attacks, but those enemies can do like annoying like some of their dagger attacks can just completely one shot you, especially on New Game Plus.
Yeah.
It's very very annoying though. I did like the I think it has. I also think the bosses in 5 are probably the worst. Except I did like the 5-3 one. Just again thematically, it was pretty neat. Like, but I think the other two are probably the worst in the game and probably the easiest. Uh,
That's another kind of not really an issue, but like something that I kind of caught on to. It's just like a lot of the bosses are either like easy
hmm.
or kind of gimmick fights.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Like Dragon God is his name.
Hmm.
Is just a big gimmick. It's like just it was so anticlimactic. Like it was just like you have this. I kind of understand how could you fight this insanely giant fucking demon looking thing, but I wish there was more kind of thought put into the fight, and that's not on Blue Point. That's just on From Software.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the fights where they're just too easy or gimmicky or just not that interesting to fight.
I think Dragon God is definitely a pretty weak fight, especially well, it's not a fight, it's a puzzle. But
Yeah.
it's like after because considering it comes after the Flame Lurker, which even in the PS5 incarnation where it's like it's kind of generic, it's still probably one of the best fights in the game, or one of
Tough
one of
fight.
the better ones definitely. Can be quite challenging. And then you come up against Dragon God, who sometimes in his first phase is a little frustrating or annoying, but like once you got him, like that's it, like you're done. It's like there's really not much to it, and it's like it's just not very well thought out. There's just not really much that they kind of, I don't know. It's definitely a weak way to end the second Archstone, and there's a lot of bosses that just kind of boil down to stuff like that, like puzzles. I think the best boss of that sort of like kind of that gimmick fight kind of type, I guess, was probably like, if I had to think of one, I'd probably say Storm King was a pretty good one.
I was gonna say something.
Even though it's still, it's definitely a gimmick fight and it's not very hard, but it's just the sense of scale is really cool, and like the
thematically, it's pretty cool.
thematically, and like just the sword that you get is like really cool because you're literally, it's like you're splitting the sky, and it's like it's pretty sick. So
it's pretty unique as well.
I think that one was pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of bosses that do kind of boil down to like, one sort of, you just do one sort of attack and melt it, or you just it's a puzzle, and it's not a very hard puzzle either. So yeah.
Or like the boss is like easy to cheese.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean with like say Leechmonger in 5-1. Just fire, any sort of fire. Like bring a fire sword or just use magic. That's it. That's all you have to do, and it's done. It's like 5-1 is probably one of the most frustrating areas in the game, and then the boss is a complete joke. It is a joke. It is like if you die to Leechmonger, it's almost like, oh my god. You just probably got really
stop playing.
You got really unlucky, or you just did something stupid. So it's, I don't know. It's I do think there's a lot of good fights in the game. I mean, we've already kind of talked about a lot of the I guess ones that I like Flame Lurker, or actually I don't know if I meant Storm King as well.
You mentioned,
but or like 5-3s as well, which I don't really want to mention because it's kind of more, I guess, like spoilery. Even though we've already mentioned some of the other spoilery ones, I guess.
I feel like you might as well just go all in.
Yeah, I mean, it is a game from 2008 or 9 or whatever.
Let's go all in.
But yeah, I would say like in terms of just like fights that I think made the game special for me personally. I mean, I would probably put I would probably mention like personally I really like Tower Knight because for me it's like that was the first roadblock boss in the game. Like it was the first one that I struggled to beat because again, I'm not great at these sorts of games, or just hadn't really been too experienced, but When I did finally like topple Tower Knight, I will say I did feel it felt great. Like it felt really good. And I was also trying to do it without killing any of like the archers because I remember I think there was like a trophy for it or something, and of course I was like I have to go for that. So that just made it a little more annoying. But once I did get him, like it felt great. Like it did feel really satisfying, and I liked that fight a lot. I thought it was a really solid early fight. Maybe not like the most incredible of all time, but it was a good start, I think, to it was one of the best like early bosses, I think. But I also quite liked. I really liked the old hero from like.
Oh yeah, that was probably my favorite fight, or like Old Monk.
Yeah, old monk's a really cool idea. Yeah.
Old Monk is such a cool idea. Probably my favorite like boss fight because you are, like, you are fighting like another human player, which is so.
It is really cool, and like I mean I got the chance to like invade in that sense a couple times, and a few times I got my ass handed to me. A few times I did best the other player, and it's like it is a really cool. Obviously, your mileage will vary in terms of like how much did you enjoy it your first time, because it just depends on the player you get, or if you fight just. I know there's like an NPC version of Old Monk as well that can be in the game if you don't get any player. I don't know how that is, but it's just it's a really cool idea for a fight. I did like that one. I think, but yeah, Old Hero was one I really liked because I didn't have the most, like, I didn't have a particularly strong weapon when I fought him. I think it was either like the Crescent Falchion or like the Dragon Longsword, like one of, not like a super strong weapon, and it was only reinforced like 2-3 times, so like +2, +3. So I was only doing like maybe like 60-70 damage a hit. Like I wasn't doing them like super hard. But that arguably made the fight more fun because it just made it like more tense, and like sure it's predictable, like his patterns aren't like ridiculously hard to figure out, but if you did get hit by him, then it's like, oh god, I have to run because he hits really hard. It was just a really cool like tense fight, and once I did best him, like it felt really good. Like that was one of the ones where I would say that was probably one of the most satisfying in the game for me to beat. In terms of like, I would say my probably the most annoying fight in the game is probably like the man-eaters. I think
Yeah, definitely.
I find I don't even really think that fight's good, to be honest. I don't really like the man-eaters.
They're incredibly aggressive and frustrating.
But it's weird. They're aggressive and frustrating, but their AI is also really stupid. Because they'll just like fly up and down, or like stand around by a beam for like 10 seconds and then fly away and then do a charge when you're least expecting it. It's not that they're incredibly smart. It's just they're just weird. Like their pattern of behavior is just so strange and like really hard to like. I guess they are kind of unpredictable, but like they also just feel kind of stupid. I don't really know. I don't know, like the way they just kind of stand there sometimes. I remember the way I beat the man-eaters was I just managed to have it so that one flew away and like would just stand there, and then the other one was fighting me. So like I'd fight them basically one at a time, once both of them had appeared. So I guess I kind of cheesed it somewhat. But I just found it too frustrating to do otherwise.
Like I didn't beat them solo. I had to get you.
Yeah, exactly. It's and like there's nothing wrong with that in the sense that like it's just a really annoying fight to do by yourself, I think.
Sure, like they fuck us up like 4 or 5 times in a row.
Yeah,
I remember. Like, but it was a good amount of times they fucked us up until we finally grinded and fucking
bested them. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
No, they were really frustrating to deal with, I think.
But I think stuff like World Tendency is kind of annoying.
It's like a neat idea, but it's like I don't know. The execution is like...
Yeah, I think the game might be better if that wasn't actually in it.
Yeah.
Personally, because it just kind of adds another layer of like, oh god, don't die in human form. And yeah, that just negates being human like completely, because you kind of strive to become human again, and then you go, oh well, if I die in human form, my world tendency goes down, so let me go to Nexus and fucking jump off
It's
like
weird
the stairs.
because
It's
I
just,
agree with you, but then I also kind of think like it's like I guess that's true, but it's like tendency is something where like I only that was only in Demon Souls. So it's like if you took it out, I guess you're kind of like it's like is it really Demon Souls then? You know, because it's like that was always part of the game. So like it's just and I get it's frustrating. Obviously, like I mean you could not like it as a as a mechanic, but I guess it's something that's like it's interesting at least as something that just it's just a mechanic specific to that game, and then they didn't try it again. Like
I think Dark Souls 2 does something kind of similar,
okay, I wasn't
where
aware.
if you die, you get your health kind of chipped away at for a good bit, and you have to use these items called human effigies to get back your or to like unhollow and become human
Okay,
again.
so like that's yeah, it affects your health, but does it affect the
It
world though, like the kind of area?
No,
Yeah, yeah,
no,
because like obviously that's the whole that's like Demon Souls
the
gimmick.
whole
Yeah,
point.
that's
Yeah,
Demon Souls gimmick. And it's I don't know, like I get your point that it's like frustrating, but at the same time it's like I don't know, it is kind of unique. Like I mean, I can't think of many games that have a thing that you know your world like the world changes depending on kind of like your actions and stuff. Like you know in terms of like whether you kill a boss in like your you know again like soul form or whatever or just human form in general. Or if you die in human form and it goes back one, you know, it can be a frustrating mechanic, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. I guess it's because it's my first Souls game, so I'm just not. I wasn't too annoyed by it. I will say like you know it was kind of annoying. You beat the boss. You're like, oh, okay, I gotta go back to the Nexus and kill myself in human form.
yeah. It just negates kind of becoming human
Yeah,
in that game. It's like, well, I'm just going to be in soul form the entire time and have like either half my health or like I could be my health like gone.
yeah,
It's
a
just
third of your health or whatever.
a third. Yeah, whatever it
You
was.
know, yeah, I do understand that. Like, it can be quite frustrating, and like just as I don't know, it's like a thing of like, it's a cool idea, but it's like I don't know how you would, kind of like I'm not a game designer, so I don't know what way you would execute it differently. And obviously for the remake, they wouldn't really change that because obviously,
No, I'm not saying they
yeah,
should
yeah, no,
change that
I'm
at all. I'm
aware.
just it definitely is just a gripe
For
I have with
you,
the game as a whole. Yeah, for
yeah, of
me. Yeah.
course. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that like it's a thing of like even if they were to like improve it, I just don't know. You know, I'm not sure what they would do or like they obviously can't take it out because again, it's just would it be Demon Souls then? You know, for a lot of people. So
That's fair point.
I because I know world tendency is and character tendency like that is very specific to Demon Souls. Like that is one of the things that makes Demon Souls Demon Souls. Which
Yeah.
again, like that probably makes it, you know, maybe that makes it like a lesser game for some people. Obviously, you still really like it, of course, but I'm just saying, like in some ways, it can make it like more frustrating or like tedious.
You know, I think the game is overall like a really, really good experience.
Yeah,
I think if you have a PS5 or want to get a PS5, definitely try out Demon Souls.
yeah, no,
100%.
it's well worth a go. I mean, it's not like there's much else to really play right now. You know,
There's a little game
well,
called Spider-Man Miles Morales, which you might go on to
oh
next.
yeah, because I wasn't quite done. I did want to say as well, the
Keep going,
sound
son.
design is exemplary in Demon Souls. It is fucking really good. The just like the sounds of like the swords and stuff and like the magic and like the way things again the dual sense comes into it again with like how just when you do certain actions and like it comes up in the controller like it feels it's just really cool. Like, it's really great. You know, it does add and like haptic feedback as well comes into it with like the arrows and stuff, and it's just you know, there's I did want to draw mention to that because like they're you know I do think the sound design is like really good in Demon Souls, and like the you know they did a great job with that and like the music as well, so Yeah, but like overall, like great game and like fantastic remake. I think. I think Blue Point did like a fantastic job with it overall.
Yeah, was pretty good, pretty good experience. But moving on
Mm.
to Spider-Man Miles Morales, the other kind of big exclusive
Well,
for the PS5.
technically, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's also on
Yeah,
PS4.
exactly.
It's just forget the fact that Jim Ryan said that they believe in generations, which they
I
clearly don't.
mean, with a game like
Um,
Miles Morales, I could understand. I wish they were just more upfront. I wish they didn't just
yes,
go like, "Oh, this is gonna be a PS5." Like they didn't say it, but they made it. They made it seem like it was going. And there's nothing wrong with the game being on PS4. I don't want to make it. I don't want to be an elitist prick about this and be like, "Oh, it should only be on PS5." You know, my brand new console. PS4 players shouldn't be able to play this because it's like if it can run on PS4, then yeah, put it on PS4. It makes sense. But it's like when they kind of like first showed, like it was the first PS5 game we ever saw, like the first game that they showed off at like their was a June event or whatever.
hmm
And it's like you kind of sets an expectation for this game to be kind of like, you know, like a PS5 experience, and when it comes to PS4 and it kind of feels. It doesn't feel like it definitely feels different in some ways, but it doesn't feel that different over the original Spider-Man. It's
but like they literally said like we believe in generations, like,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you kind of get the assumption that like all their upcoming games for the PS5 are going to stay on PS5. Like it's just like like Spider-Man and Horizon are PS4, and like
It
Sackboy is
is,
also
yeah,
PS4,
yeah.
which I guess that's more understandable. But again, he set the
Mm.
precedent of, or tried to when he said, we believe in generations. So it's just kind of going back on your
I
words.
think for me it's like if they just were upfront, if they just said it was gonna be on
Yeah,
PS4, fine, whatever.
yeah.
Because it's like it makes sense. Like it is like playing it. It's like yeah, this could definitely run on PS4. Obviously not to the same caliber of like performance or visuals, but like you play it and you go yeah, this could probably run on a PS4. It's more
Yeah.
Spider-Man, and like Spider-Man 2018, like it's clearly on like the same engine and stuff. Looks a
hmm
little better, of course, but
But then for not to get too off topic, for games like
mm,
Horizon, it's like, is that gonna just hold it back more?
you
'Cause
worry about it.
probably,
Yeah, you'd worry about it.
definitely, yeah, definitely.
But no, I do agree in that regard. But I guess like I'm thinking, look, it's 3 games. I assume like once Horizon's out, that's probably it. Like I don't really see them, doing a whole lot more. Like I know PS4 has a pretty big install base. It makes sense. You can't just leave it behind. You can't just go, oh, we're not going to make PS4 games anymore. They want to give it another year or two of life.
hmm
Like I don't know if we, I'm not sure how I'd feel if like, I mean, I wouldn't really care that much personally, but I would be like, man, it'd be weird if say like God of War Ragnarok, they're like, oh, it's also on PS4.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, I
It
was like,
would
if that
be
game was on PS4,
yeah, it would
oh,
be kind of, but like then again, it's like, are you expecting it to be like a massive, huge, major like visual overhaul over like God of War
no.
2018?
I assume it's the same assets and just kind of tweak a little bit here and there.
Probably maybe on like a
Uh,
bigger scale maybe because it's a
yeah,
sequel. Like sequels always go bigger, or usually go bigger. So it's like yeah,
there's two dragons.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how that pans out. But as for like Miles Morales, like as it is, as a PlayStation 5 game, that just happens to be on PS4. It's good. Like it's good. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was an enjoyable expansion. I know it's standalone expansion to Spider-Man 2018
yeah,
because like you can't just pretend like it's like this brand new full game like Sony were kind of.
but they want you
Exactly,
to go.
exactly. I don't think you can pretend that because it's clearly, I mean, and it makes sense. Like I'm not chastising, the game like Insomniac for that. It's like obviously it's going to be quite similar in a lot of ways, and like it's gonna have a lot of the same locations and stuff. It makes sense. It's weird Sony tried to market the game that way, that it's not, because to me it felt like DLC. Like it felt.
It's just the price point is, I think, the main
contention.
issue
Yeah,
with the
the
game.
main point of
Yeah,
contention.
it's just like charging €60 for that game. It should be.
I think
40
it's overpriced.
at most.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it
too
should be
short.
40
I
at most.
finished like I
Yeah.
completed it 100% in like 15 hours, and like that is, it was a good 15 hours. But like when I say 15 hours now to do everything like that's everything, and even like a little bit extra afterwards. Like I'd say to beat the story, it's probably like 6 hours, 7 hours maybe.
Yeah.
It's not a very.
I
long
think I
game.
put like 9 hours, 10 hours in the game, and I beat it. I think in like 6, 7
Like
hours.
the fact that it was only Spider-Man launched at what was it 70 at release, and Miles Morales is 60. It kind of sets to like, oh, is this is gonna be like a similar length, but not really. Like I mean, Spider-Man 2018 was probably double the length, story wise, and also double the length in terms of just the full scope of the game. Like it probably would take you like I think it took me like 35 hours or so to do everything in the original Spider-Man. Whereas here it's like 15 to do the whole again everything.
I guess now it's because some PS5 games are now 80, or like Demon Souls was 80
Exactly, yeah.
here, and I guess these kind of €60 price games are now the kind of old €40 price games you might get. Like so, it's just jumping up in price, which is
Yeah, that's kind of
I guess get on with the times. I guess maybe we have to
yeah. That's actually that does set kind of like I like. You would have it's like with PS4 generation you had games that launched at cheaper prices like Dreams or I think Medieval came out at like a cheaper price. You had games like that came out for like 40. But yeah, I assume now with like PS5 those games are probably going to be 60 and then your full price games are going to be 80. So it does kind of set a little bit of a worrying precedent, I suppose. Cuz it's like it's fine if it stays at this, it's still kind of expensive, but hopefully it's not going to get even more expensive again. It's like, what if games start being 90? What if games start being 100? Because it's like, oh, well, development costs are getting more expensive, and it's like, well, yeah, but I mean, do I want to pay 90, 100 for every single game I buy? I don't think so, like,
maybe stop paying your like CEOs fucking ginormous bonuses.
Yeah, exactly.
And games wouldn't be so expensive.
Yeah.
Activision.
Yeah, Activision. When they're letting go of their Blizzard employees and giving them fucking gift cards.
Look, that's another topic for another time.
My God, I'm sorry. It's boggles.
No,
my,
you're spot
boggles
on.
my
No,
fucking
it's
mind.
a
Like,
joke.
it's like, oh, you can buy
Yeah.
the new Crash Bandicoot on Battle.net.
Please keep supporting Overwatch by
Loot
buying
boxes
loot
for Overwatch. Fuck off.
But I think the combat in Miles is a lot better. Not a lot better. Like, it could be better.
It's more,
than,
it's more fun. I
Spider-Man.
think. Yeah, I agree. The Electro.
It's just
powers.
I think it's going to be kind of hard to kind of see the Spider-Man sequel and not have Miles in it and play as him. I assume that they're both going to be in.
Yeah, I
the
see.
game,
I see it
both.
being kind of like a team up kind of game.
Yeah.
Like you might be able to play as different characters at different points. Which that I like the sound of that. That does sound like a fun idea. I wonder who else is gonna maybe show up in an inevitable sequel. Obviously that probably won't be for a few years, but
It's like, I don't know.
Mile
What other heroes do Sony own?
Venom, I guess.
It was more of anti-heroes.
Yeah,
versus the
but
hero
you
for
could
Venom.
probably have like playable Venom.
Yeah.
That would be cool. It'd be kind of like that Ultimate Spider-Man game from like all those years ago.
Yeah. From years ago.
with like the comic book art style. But
Is it like, was it Spider-Man Friend or Foe or something? Was it
the
called?
one, well, you could play as Venom in that, but you could also play as Venom in Ultimate Spider-Man. That was like a PS2 game. It was like cell shaded.
Oh, okay.
But like that was the whole like kind of point of that game. You could play as Spider-Man or Venom. But it'd be cool if like they ever he's definitely a character I could see them do at some stage.
I feel like if this next Tom Holland movie might mention him or whatever,
Or Tom Hardy
I feel
just
like
shows up like
there's something like maybe like a kind of post credit scene.
Parasite.
I feel like I feel like they might kind of tie it in with the new Spider-Man game.
Yeah,
It's
that'd
a
be
fever
neat.
dream.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, look, I I did quite enjoy yeah, I did quite enjoy Miles Morales, but it felt slight. Like it felt kind of like while it was enjoyable, it felt kind of it felt like a side story or like a side mission, you know, like it didn't.
felt like DLC.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, felt like DLC
Yeah.
because it's what it should be.
And there's again nothing explicitly wrong with that. I just wish it was like a bit cheaper. And that they didn't
Yeah.
market it as like a full game because it's clearly not. You know, it's clearly
If they kind of did the whole kind of Bowser's Fury thing of here's Spider-Man PS4 remastered and here's an extra like 15
yeah,
hours
and that
content
was
with
60.
Miles Morales.
And
that was 60, yeah.
not 80.
Yeah.
Make
Yeah.
that 60.
That'd be wow, good deal.
Yeah, it'd be a pretty decent deal. Yeah, exactly. And it would make having to buy the Spider-Man PS5 remaster an easier pill to swallow, I think.
Yes.
You know, because it kind of sucks. You still have to pay extra for that. But at
Yeah.
least it's like, at least if you get it that way, it's like, well, look, I have, you know, I get this new Miles Morales game, and I get the Spider-Man, you know, PS5 full remaster, 60 FPS,
And you get the brand new Tom Holland lookalike.
and you can't
Peter
change
Parker.
it.
You
He
can't
has to
change
look
it.
like
you
that
can't go
now.
back. Yeah,
He has
yeah.
to look like he's fucking 12, like.
He fucking deformed
He-
his own face to look like
He
Tom
has
Holland.
to look younger than the fucking guy he's mentoring, like. Scott the Woz looking at.
He literally looks like a 11-year-old type of boy in like a 25, 26-year-old man's body. Like,
Oh,
legit,
it's so
like, he just-
uncanny. That's so weird.
wow, this 12-year-old is quite tall.
Well, he's just 12-year-old lecturing a 15-year-old. Like, yeah, no, his face just does not suit the. It doesn't suit the voice, and it doesn't suit the kind of the Peter that like they've set up in the games. Like if it was like a Spider-Man Homecoming style Peter Parker, then I'd be like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. If he was like literally 16 years old, I'd be like,
Yeah, I
okay,
could buy him being 16. I can't buy him being like 24 or 25, whatever
I
age.
I think he's like, yeah, I think he's 25
Yeah,
now.
because
in
he
this
was
game.
23,
Yeah.
I think, in the 2018 one. And I think Miles
Yeah.
Morales, isn't it set like 2 years after, I think, something like that?
I think Miles was 15, 16, and now he's 17, borderline 18 in Miles
Okay,
Morales.
yeah, I know it's set like a little bit after.
Yeah.
You know, he's starting to get to grips with like his powers.
It's I wonder at Insomniac where they're like, do you know what would be neat for this remaster? We need Tom Holland,
Yeah.
but we can't get him. Oh well, then get some fucking guy after he looks like him.
Yeah,
Alright.
yeah.
And he's got this dude.
It,
Like,
it's weird. Like I hope this isn't gonna be like a thing where they're gonna constantly like change his face to like with every
if they introduce Miles in like the Marvel Spider-Man movies, well, guys, I guess Miles' face will change.
Yeah, yes, or yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're gonna make him look like whatever actor plays him. Yeah, it's weird because I mean, all I can think because like I only thought about this recently, but it's kind of like it kind of reminds me of they make say Ratchet and Clank, like they constantly change the character designs for those games, like constantly, like I'm pretty sure there's been like 4 or 5 designs for Ratchet at this point. So like I'm kind of thinking like, are we gonna get like tons of like new characters? Like obviously we'll get like new suits for Spider-Man. That makes sense. But like, are we?
That's cool. Yeah,
that
that
makes
really
sense. But like, are we gonna change his face every couple of games? Like, is he gonna get a face transplant every couple of games?
Yeah, he now has a unibrow.
It's like, oh, he looks like, I don't know, he looks like Nicolas Cage now or something.
Like
just like totally out of place, like
John Travolta looking Spider-Man.
John Travolta. He looks like a nearly 70. Looks like Sylvester Stallone. Yeah, just completely like out of character, like
I am a 26-year-old man.
I am a 26-year-old man. I'm Peter Parker.
Miles, what are you doing?
You're Matt.
But
yeah.
come on, let's go swing away. But yeah, no, it's I think bizarre. Um, I don't get why they would do it. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's just weird. I that's all I could say. But like
I like to know if that was a Insomniac choice or it was
Sony
a
choice.
Sony
Was it Sony like,
like
oh well, our you saw how successful like the movies
yeah,
are.
like Jim Ryan ringing up like Tim Price. Oh, time, Tom Holland, yeah, make your Spider-Man look like him, alright, bye.
The
Maybe,
MCU.
yeah, yo, lot of money for us. Like,
I wonder if they're gonna get Tom Holland for like the Avengers game if they can afford him. Like, probably not.
please no.
Probably not. Yeah.
Oh,
If they even get to that point, like.
yeah, if you don't fucking bin the game in like 3 months.
I mean, we're apparently getting like Black Panther DLC or expansion.
yeah, I see that. Yeah, yeah.
Whatever. I mean, I don't know. It's like I just think by that point it's gonna be like who cares. But
Yeah.
hopefully they can turn it around. But yeah, so Miles Morales, like, it's good, but it's just I just wish there was more to it. I just kind of wish like there are a lot of things I enjoyed and like the story and like. The combat is a lot of fun. I think as I said, the new kind of like electric kind of powers and stuff that you get are a lot of fun to play around with. It's just like the punches and stuff. There's like way more oomph to them. Like there's you kind of feel a lot more powerful. I think in Miles than you did in the like Spider-Man 2018, which is nice. Like it's just a nice step up I think for the combat. And I feel it's like it helps it feel less like it's aping Arkham. Not that Spider-Man 2018 felt like super similar to that. Like it definitely felt like its own spin. But it just makes it feel even more kind of distinct, I think. I did really enjoy the combat and like the game in general. And like the load times are crazy. Like they're crazy.
So impressive.
I think
so
it is
impressive.
one of the games to showcase, like, in that sense.
Yeah, it's so
You can
impressive.
literally just, like, boot up the game, go to gameplay in, like 10 seconds. It's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
it's insane. I've never... Because, like, Spider-Man 2018, like, that was a long loader. Like, that game could take a while at times to load. You could be waiting, like, maybe nearly 2 minutes to get into that game at times. And then to go from that... to Miles Morales, which is like 10 seconds, or even I'm sure Spider-Man Remastered is like pretty much the same. Like it's probably super quick as well. I haven't tried it, but it's super impressive. And like the game looks and plays great. Like you have a nice few different performance modes. You have your usual kind of like same with Demon's Souls pretty much, but you have your performance mode, your graphics mode, and there's like a performance mode with ray tracing, which is just it's cool to have that as like an option. I think. I did play with the ray tracing performance mode just because like I know it does vary like the resolution a bit more, but I still thought it looked really good to be honest. So it didn't really bother me.
I tried. I mainly played the game on performance.
Just performance solely.
I didn't bother with the red
makes sense, yeah.
Because I wanted like just the most frames possible.
Yeah, and probably best.
And I was worried that performance RT would maybe make a dip here and there.
It probably does, but I guess I don't notice that stuff like too much. Like if it's like kind of minute enough performance dips, but it didn't bother me too much.
Then I tried fidelity and I was like, nope, it looks great, but man, 30 FPS, I just can't go back to that.
It's hard for hopefully in a couple of years we won't be having that conversation. We won't have to be playing 30 FPS. That like devs will understand. Oh yeah, games feel better at 60.
Here's a PS5 Pro.
Yeah, PS5 Pro. Christ.
Yeah,
it's even bigger. I don't know. It's just cool to be able to play with those kinds of like, to have those options. And like PS4 Pro already kind of gave you some of those options. Like you could play some games with like different kind of like performance modes. Some games had that. as like an option. I think like Final Fantasy 15 had it.
Yeah.
There were
It is cool to get options like a PC.
exactly. Yeah.
So consoles are kind of starting to catch up. In
Embrace
that
that sort of side of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Embrace
yeah.
options.
No, it's not perfect.
No,
like
no.
I don't see consoles being like, oh, do you want to change character details?
Yeah, do you want to change
low?
very specific graphic settings? Yeah, I
yeah,
doubt that.
yeah. Change
Then it's just PC practically at that point.
yeah. Change the polygons on fucking Kratos' beard, like
Do you want to change the density of the density of Kratos' hair particles?
Yeah.
what little there is.
Change how old Peter Parker looks in the next Spider-Man game.
Change the density of Crash Bandicoot's fur.
Yeah, exactly. These small things.
Do you want fur physics on or off? Ratchet's fur physics. It's I do wonder how things are gonna like be in like 3-4 years in terms of like are we still gonna be having these options, or like is it gonna get a lot more kind of like our games are gonna be like, oh, you have to play this at like 30 FPS,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It was intended to be a cinematic 30 FPS.
Yeah, okay, Naughty Dog. Like,
which, yeah, I.
If any company, gonna be honest, if any company was gonna do it, I would think it'd be Naughty Dog. And that's they're a company I respect in a lot of ways, but in others I can can be frustrating. But though I at least you can give them credit for their accessibility options. But like Miles Morales, Miles Morales was good. I liked it. I thought it was a good game. I wish it was a bit cheaper.
Yeah.
And it's like I wish I had more to say, but it's like it's a game that's like I enjoyed it, but it just kind of felt like, and the combat was better. I actually think I did enjoy the combat more.
Yeah.
But I just wish there was more to it. Like in terms of like story and stuff, it's like there's not a whole lot to say. Like the villain was like generic. I can't really remember much of like what was going on. Like I
Troy Baker.
Yeah, Troy Baker was like the villain. He was like the generic, boring villain.
Yeah.
He's like some big CEO tech guy. It's like, wow, that's really interesting. I'm really curious what this guy's plan is.
They were like, oh, let's make him sarcastic.
Yeah. It's like this fast talker, sarcastic. Yeah. It's Dirt 5 is Troy Baker. You're not special, You're not that special, Miles Morales.
Do you know who that character? I forget his name in the game. Troy Baker's character. He reminded me of like Pagan Min a little bit, because it was like, let's just get how kind of sarcastic and sassy Pagan Min was, and just get Troy to do that, but in like an American accent.
Yeah, with an American accent, white guy, boring CEO tech guy.
They were like, wow, Pagan Min, write that down.
Yeah.
It's just
that, but worse.
Wow, he's so funny.
He's kind of quirky though.
Yeah,
he's kind of wacky. Yeah, I mean,
I actually would just fully embrace if just had him do the Pagan Min accent like the entire time.
It'd be kind of out of place, but yeah, be more. You'd be like, oh, it's Pagan Min. But yeah, like I mean, it was cool to see. Like I assume they were inspired by like Spider-Verse, but it was cool to see like Prowler in the game, and like just that angle.
Spoilers, I suppose.
I mean, we talked about I'll mention that there's spoilers in the in description and like all over the video and stuff. Because like it's like we want to talk about it. We blew Demon's Souls wide open, and I know that's an old game.
Yeah, I was going to say before this part, as I mentioned, do you want to do spoilers or not? But
well, I guess we are now.
Anyway, go back to Protoss.
But it's I mean it was good. I mean that's pretty much most of what I can say. It was a good game. I wish there was a little more meat to it. Like I wish there was, for the price. Like I wish there was just a bit more to it. I do think the side missions were like a little better in this one. I remember finding them kind of boring in the original game. They were a little better in this one, from what I remember.
I feel like they're actual kind of side quests.
Yeah, they felt like, and they just felt more like rewarding to do. Like you're helping out civilians and stuff, and like you were kind of doing that in the last game, but like it just they felt more like well thought out in this. I guess it helps. Like there's not that many of them. Like you do finish up with them a bit quicker in this, but what was there was fun and I enjoyed it. And it was just like less of a slog to fully complete, I think. Even though I did really like the original game, but yeah. I thought it was pretty good overall. I liked it. What?
Yeah, I liked it too. I don't think it's definitely not a system seller anyway.
Absolutely not. Just not enough there, really.
No, definitely not. But I think overall, it is a good kind of, I suppose, showcase for like the next Spider-Man.
Yeah, and it's a good showcase of like maybe not what it can do. Like it is a good, really good looking game, of course. But I think it's a good showcase of what it can do in terms of just like showing off like how
Miles Morales, I think, just to how he probably will play in that game. And I think it's good to kind of get to know him more as a character in his own game, instead of just, seeing him and Peter together. I think it was good to give him his own kind of breathing space.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's...
Because I think he's a really good character.
Yeah, I think they did him really well. Like Insomniac get the character and like...
Definitely,
they give him... He's probably a lot more like relatable than Peter in a lot of ways. Not that I know Peter was always kind of meant to be kind of like a relatable enough character because he's more of like an everyman, but he's still
who's incredibly smart.
He got the big brain, like, and they're always talking about science and stuff, and they do it a bit in Miles Morales as well. Like it does feel like every character is like a fucking genius, which I don't know. It's like everybody's going around like Jimmy Neutron, like, well, it's like, well, actually it's sodium chloride. It's just like, at times it's like it does feel a little. It's a bit goofy, like I don't know. There's just something about it that's like it's like it's weird how it's just every character is like a genius. It's like they all know how to make like crazy tech and shit. So I do think that's. I don't know. I guess it's a comic book game, like, of course.
Even, like, people who work in retail. I'll have you know, Miles, it's actually potassium chloride.
It's actually salt. Neanderthal. But, yeah, I mean, it's still... Like, the story was still entertaining, and I enjoyed playing through it and all that, and... Yeah, it was good. I mean, and as I said, it's a good showcase in the sense that like it shows off the loading times, like how fast that SSD is in the PS5. Like it's crazy fast, and like just the load times in the game are like super snappy and quick, and like the game runs great. Like I didn't really notice any major like frame rate drops at all. So it's it's an impressive showcase for like what it can do in terms of just like power and speed. So.
I imagine the next Spider-Man game is in a different city.
I'd imagine it's and on a much probably bigger scale. I'd imagine.
Yeah, maybe like an LA or like like an Austin or something, some random city.
Yeah, like the thing they'll probably want to do is like make Spider-Man like feel tiny, like in the comparison to like the scale and the like scope of the world,
Or like we could have multiple cities.
That's true too.
Like, New York and maybe like an LA or something. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
That's true. That could be a neat idea. Yeah, but hopefully they do something unique and like interesting with it, and like just do like a cool. I assume we're gonna have multiple heroes, so looking forward to that. Hopefully.
I'm not sure. It might be like a GTA 5 thing of like you might swap to Miles on the fly. You could, because like loading times be
like, yeah, it's like Peter, Miles, Trevor, awesome. Can't wait. Like,
yeah,
just completely. It's like, what's Trevor up to right now?
Half your like side missions are like stopping Trevor doing claims. Spider-Man.
I mean, it'd be kind of neat to be fair. Just really weird. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the second one. Anyways, to be fair, even if again. Miles wasn't like a perfect game, but it was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it a lot. So yeah, that's pretty much it on Miles Morales.
There's a couple other games I want to talk about,
It's totally fair.
such as Astro's
It'd
Playroom.
be yeah, it'd be pretty. It wouldn't be great if there were only 2 games on PS5.
Yeah.
But Astro's Playroom, yeah, that comes like pre-installed on the console. So like as soon as as soon as you turn it on, like that's there waiting for you to try it out. And I played Astrobot Rescue Mission. That was like the VR game that came out for like PSVR, and that is probably like one of the most like charming platformers I've played in a long time. Like that game rivals like that game kind of almost like rivals like Mario quality stuff. Like it's really good. Like it's a really great little platformer. Probably one of the best games I've played in VR. Probably the best, I'd say.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
High praise.
probably the best. Just because like it does a great job of like showing like just a sense of scale and like awe, and like just like it's like it's so cheerful. Like it's one of those games you play and you just have a big stupid smile on your face the whole time, and it's like it does like so many fun little things with like the controller and stuff, and it's just a really great game. So like when they announced like Astro's Playroom, I was like legitimately like, oh man, I'm actually pretty stoked for that. And it didn't disappoint. I really enjoyed this game. I thought it was a lot of fun and a great kind of trip down memory lane, I think, in terms of like PlayStation as a brand and as an IP. And while it feels like Sony themselves don't seem to respect their legacy, like at least Jim Ryan, anyways, and that
Fucking old video games.
and I understand maybe like nostalgia can sometimes blind it can get in the way of like it can kind of get in the way of making like progress and things and whatnot, like, but it's good to at least respect your legacy. Even like say what you want about like Nintendo, because Nintendo do a lot of dumb shit, but it seems like they at least understand that they definitely have a lot of classics, and they want to, you know.
And you want to sell you that classic for €60?
Yeah. I mean, it's not great, but I mean, it's something, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess. I rather that
Nothing.
than let's shut down the online stores.
I mean,
of
you can still, like, I'm not saying Nintendo's great. They're still bad, honestly, for kind of their old game kind of preservation and stuff. But I just feel like they at least kind of, they respect their legacy more than Sony do, because I feel like Sony, like so many of their like iconic franchises and games, never get any sort of like, they might get one re-release at best, but even a lot of times they just don't get a lot of recognition. Like you can't play almost the entire God of War franchise on the PS5, which is kind of crazy. Like you can only play 2018. I don't think any of the others are actually on PS5. Maybe they're on PS Now, but like they're not on. You can't play them natively on your PS4 or your PS5, which to me is crazy. Like I like that.
wasn't there like a remaster though for God of War 3?
That's true, but I mean, where's 1 and 2? Where's the PSP ones? Where's Ascension?
Yeah, exactly.
Like where's like it's but it's not just God of War. Like like say. Just trying to think off like the top of my head, like games that like none of the Ratchet and Clank games for PS2 you can play on PS5 or PS.
Metal Gear Solid.
I mean, I guess that one's not really in the hands of Sony, I suppose. Like it's more on Konami. Still should be able to play it on PS5. I agree.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
But Sly Cooper, like those games, like, but there's like way more. Like one that
Infamous, all Infamous games.
Yeah, old Infamous games. Yeah, exactly. But like one that immediately kind of comes to mind for me is kind of like Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo comes to mind, I think, because like those games sell like hotcakes like back in the day, and they were like really influential. But they've never been re-released. Even when they brought out like the PlayStation Classic, like they didn't put like Gran Turismo 1 on it. And I understand like licensing cars might be like hard in terms of like, it probably costs a lot, I'd imagine, like, but I don't know, it's just crazy how like I just think those games are like really important in terms of like racing games in general, and you can't there's like no way to play them besides like buying the old ass PS1 copies or emulating them, of course.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't know, would Jim Ryan like you doing that? I don't think so. So
The big no word.
so it's like, I don't know. I mean, again, same with Nintendo. But I'm going off on a tangent, but it's just I do feel like Sony have definitely like an issue with like legacy and like preservation of like their old games and stuff. And yeah, again, emulation's like a thing, of course. But like it's worrying when like they're closing down like their stores and stuff, and like you won't, there's so many games there that you won't be able to get anymore. Like if they're gone, then
I agree.
They're gone. Yeah, that's it. Like there's a lot of games that are only on that PlayStation 3 store, or they're only on that Vita store. So like once they're gone, they're gone. Besides the people that have them saved on their PS3s and have like files for them on the internet and stuff. So at least they're there in that sense, but in an official capacity, they're gone. But yeah, sorry for the tangent, but like it's just I wanted to get that off my chest. It's like something that it just bothers me about Sony, but at least it seems like the people that make Astro's Playroom, they seem to care because there's just so much love for like Sony's like past in that game. There's like so many franchises that get and like just even like one-off like random games that like we haven't they haven't seen like games in years that just get like little references or mention in Astro's Playroom, and it's cool to see. Or just like weird knickknacks from like Sony's past. Like you could have like I don't know, like just weird like peripherals and stuff that like that were released years ago get like a spotlight, and it's cool to see it in Astro's Playroom. But it's a great, of course, like the thing to mention with that game, of course, is like the DualSense, because it's probably it's the showcase for it, I think.
Yeah. Definitely is. It's super super cool. It is so cool.
It's I mean, it's probably the reason it comes like pre-installed on your PS5, because it's something to be like, while you're waiting for your kind of bigger titles to install, you can play Astro's Playroom and just be kind of like wowed by like what the DualSense can do.
Yeah.
Play that for an hour and just like, again, feel the sand particles in the controller and stuff, or like, again, like when you're doing the little gotcha machine or little claw machine mini game, like, and it again, you're crushing the little capsule, like, and it's just, you can feel it kind of break as you're like pressing down on the trigger, which is, it's just really cool. Like that's really cool.
Or like going from water to sand to wood, like you feel the different kind of, not the kind of almost texture, but you can kind of like it's
you hear
close
it in the
enough,
controller,
like,
and like you can kind of feel it a little bit.
It's the kind of mishmash of like the haptic feedback and the sound that makes you like fucking just think that you're actually on wood or sand or whatever. It's really
it's a really cool like audio visual experience. Yeah, I agree.
I haven't played a ton of Astro's Playroom.
It's fair, yeah.
But hour or two. But I definitely want to go back to it, because it also looks really good, and it's just super charming.
Yeah, it's really cute.
And
it's really.
I want to see what they do with the DualSense. It's so cool.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm personally really excited for what they do next, because they're clearly going to do another game. And it's probably going to be like a full... Either it'll be another VR game, like for the VR2, or they might just do another like 3D platformer in the vein of Playroom, but on like a bigger scale. Either way, I'd play either. Whatever the hell they do, I'll be very excited for it. Also because like Astro seems like... I hope anyways, it seems like Astro will be Sony's mascot going forward. Like they're going to stick with Astro as like their mascot. And I think of all the kind of characters they've had for that role, I think he's probably the, it's like Astro is probably the one that's like the most, I think, easy to pin down as like just a mascot character. Like he'd work really well in that kind of role. So I'm looking forward to seeing more games from, what was it, Asobi team, I think is the division that's like I know the Japan studio is kind of like winding down a lot, which
they're pretty much all that's kind of left.
Pretty much, yeah. Which is a shame, because I think Japan Studio brought a lot of flair and like diversity to Sony's kind of repertoire. Like a lot of games that they made we're not gonna see the likes of anymore, which is a shame. Because I mean, they didn't just obviously they made a lot of their own stuff, but they all and they also helped out on like they helped out on Team Ico's games. They made stuff like I know that like Gravity Rush, that was like kind of I think that was also like a subsidiary kind of team. Like it wasn't just Japan Studio. It was like some other people that apparently I think they left like a few years ago. So there probably won't be another one of those games more than likely.
They worked on like Bloodborne 2.
Exactly, and Demon Souls I think to an extent.
Yeah.
And the remake too. But like they had like they made a lot of stuff that had like really I guess like a lot of creativity. Like a lot of their games like as I said, I mean I mentioned Gravity Rush as being one, but like they had Ape Escape, which I used to love back in the day. I'm kind of sad we'll probably never get another one of those. Or like I don't know, like even just weird stuff like Patapon or like Loco Roco or whatever, just like weird little games like that. Like you're not gonna see that kind of stuff anymore, because they're probably going to just completely focus on, Sony seemed to be very set on like Western and kind of, big Western games. Like that's their big thing going forward, and like that's fine. But I do think there's a place for these kinds of smaller games that just kind of have things you wouldn't see in those kinds of games, and it's sad that like that's kind of, I guess, on the way out a bit. Like Sony probably don't. It seems like Sony doesn't see value in that, which is a shame. Like I'd take another knack, honestly. It's something. But at least Astro should hopefully stick around.
Hopefully.
Yeah, and I do like. I did really enjoy Playroom. Like it's just again, it's filled with creativity. It's really fun. I love there's some fun. There's kind of some fun like kind of controller gimmicks and stuff that they do with it. And like mini games and stuff. And just overall, it's just like a really charming, enjoyable little experience. It doesn't run too long. Like I think to beat it, it's like 4 or 5 hours, but it's really good while it lasts, I think. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next. With the kind of, I guess, with the IP. Pretty good little game. I really enjoyed it, honestly. Really
Awesome.
great, I think.
Awesome stuff. I touched on Call of Duty Black Ops before, I think, or
you
the
did,
podcast.
yeah, the first podcast,
and I played that a bit. Just to kind of, I was curious to see what it would do with the triggers and stuff, and it's pretty cool. Like it gives you like a lot of force to kind of to play with. Like with your right trigger, you have to really press down to shoot the gun.
I assume like once if you're out of like bullets or something, it kind of jams up a little bit.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. There's not really a lot to say about the actual game.
It's probably not. I can't imagine it's changed too much in the couple of months it's been.
No, I mean, Black Ops Cold War it's definitely a step down from like Modern Warfare. In terms of kind of content and even quality of the game.
Well, it felt rushed. Like it felt like they got it out because it felt like 100%. They had to get it out for 2020 because Activision, Bobby Kotick was like, well, I gotta have more money,
Which is weird because Warzone could keep going for like another year and like have Cold War come out, just this year. But
they got to rush one out. That's pretty much it.
Of course. And like they're probably going to rush out this Vanguard, this new Call of Duty.
Oh, another World War II one by Sledgehammer.
Yay! Yeah.
Just what the doctor ordered.
Because World War II was so well received.
Yeah, people love that game.
Just do that again.
Like, wow, this is the best 6 out of 10 game ever.
But yeah, look, there's not a ton to say on Call of Duty Cold War. It's Call of Duty.
Yeah. I mean, what we said before kind of still stands. I'd imagine, like for you on PS5, like that campaign's fine. The multiplayer is Nah, and then the zombies is
It's getting
yeah,
better. There's more content, but like it's slowly getting
and
better. But and then zombies
yeah,
is much
zombies
harder,
is
to be
good.
fair.
Like zombies is fun. Uh,
Yeah. Um. Yeah, that's
yeah,
Call of
not
Duty.
just probably not like a whole lot more to say. I can't say anything about it on PS5. Haven't played it there. But I'd imagine it's probably got some cool like controller gimmicks. I mean, and speaking of like control, I did play Control on PS5. I gave that a quick go. And again, that's like a similar thing to Call of Duty, where like again like just the you do have to, you can feel the force of like having to press down on the trigger to shoot your weapon, and like when it again like when you run out of bullets and stuff, like it does jam up, and it's like it's like you could say it's like gimmicky, but like I'm just like this, that's pretty cool. Like it's just pretty cool. Like that's, I don't know, it's neat. Like that's a feature. That just like the haptic feedback's like a cool thing to have. Just makes you more immersed in the game, I find, which is it's just neat, you know. Um,
Yeah, it's just it's such a cool kind of aspect of the console as a
yeah,
whole. I some games don't do it as well. Like Immortals Phoenix Rising doesn't really do a lot with the haptic feedback, which is
that's true.
disappointing.
Yeah, doesn't do a whole
Um,
lot.
Overall, that game is it's I describe it as like kind of a turn off your brain or like watch like something on YouTube and have it on in the background kind of a
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
Um, I'm not super invested in what's going on. Um, I think it's fun to play,
Well, I mean, that's all that matters,
but I
really, I
just
suppose.
exactly I got it for cheap, so I just have it on the background if I'm kind of just kind of bored and I want to watch some YouTube videos and just play something. It's just that's the kind of game it is for me. I don't have a ton to say about it, like 'cause I'm not that far into
Yeah,
it. It's just very Breath of the Wildy,
it definitely.
which
Yeah,
isn't which isn't
it
a
takes a
bad
lot of
thing,
inspiration.
but
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I can't compare it because I haven't played Breath of the Wild, but I'm aware that it takes a lot of inspiration from it.
it
Yeah,
does.
some would say blatant ripoff, but
Uh, uh, yeah, they're a bit liberal in their kind of taking of Breath of the Wild
it
aspects
probably
of it.
does do some of its own stuff, I'd imagine. But it does. I did think I like the I do like the visuals. Like I think the game is really vibrant. Like it's very colorful. I thought there were a lot of times where the colors like really popped off on the screen, and I was like that. Yeah, I think it's a really nice looking game overall. It helps with it's just that it runs really well on PS5 and stuff. But
Yeah, it's pretty flawless on
yeah,
PS5.
visually I think it looks quite nice, and the world seems like it's not too bad to explore. Like it's not super dull. There's always some stuff to do, and it's not like a kind of a slog to traverse through, because it's kind of fun to fly around or like mount ride a mount around it and stuff. Like it's not super tedious like to go to places. I find like traversal is enjoyable enough. I I don't have like a ton to say about it. Like the combat's enjoyable. I played it. I'm playing it on like hard difficulty, and at times it can be quite challenging. Like I've gotten my ass handed to me a few times. I'm not like super like highly leveled or whatever in the game, so I haven't done like a ton of grinding. So I do find it like kind of tough at times, but it's not ridiculously hard. And yeah, it's just pretty good, as you said. Kind of a good like, you're not gonna pay too much attention to the story and the lore, but you'll have it on in the background and just kind of enjoy playing it bit by bit. Kind of, it's a pretty long game.
Yeah,
I think it runs like at least 30 hours or so for the story, probably a bit more, and there's probably plenty to do afterwards.
I mean, I think 30 hours is a good chunk of time. You don't want too long, like other Ubisoft open world games, which might run you like 70 hours of
Yeah,
story.
they're pretty. Yeah, it's pretty obvious what we're referring to with that. But it's it's a nice little game. I can kind of understand why it didn't do super well. I think the name was definitely one of the big reasons. I don't know. I think Gods and Monsters was like the better title. I'm not really sure why they went for Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Oh, was there some legal aspect with like Monster Energy? I think.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I actually
Yeah,
forgot about that. Still dumb.
yeah.
Why didn't
Maybe call it just like Phoenix Rising or something.
or even
I
like
don't know.
I don't
Instead of
know
like the
Immortals,
Immortals.
Gods, and Monsters maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Um, or yeah, just Phoenix Rising. I don't know, something like that. Cause to me
I don't even get
the
the
name
whole.
sounds like a mobile game. It sounds like a bad mobile game.
Yeah, it's just I don't know.
It sounds
It's
cheap.
just
Like there's something about it just sounds cheap.
yeah,
It sounds
yeah.
like a knockoff game, which yeah, a lot of people could argue it. They could argue it is, but it's clearly got a lot of effort put into it.
It sounds like a Genshin Impact
Yeah,
knockoff.
Genshin Impact knockoff. Yeah. But there's clearly like a lot of effort put into it. Like I was always pretty open to trying it out. Like I thought it looked like a pretty fun game, regardless of like the maybe the regardless of like the kind of uh, let me take a look at your homework but change it a little bit so it's like a bit different kind of nature of it.
Yeah,
Um,
but like I thought the game got pretty
it
good
did,
reviews
yeah,
though.
it
Like
did.
it's well received. Like so, it's. I feel like it's worth the money if you can get it cheap, which I think
You
you probably
will.
can. Like I got mine for like 35
I
euro.
don't
Like,
think the game sold
so.
super well. It probably didn't. It didn't help. It came
Yeah,
out like a
so
week before Cyberpunk. Which
yeah,
say what you want about that
good
game,
point.
it was kind of you could definitely say it was pretty hotly
Big deal.
anticipated.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Immortals is decent. It's not the best game out there, but I did quite enjoy what I've played, and I will probably play more of it. Um, I also played Sackboy Big Adventure, the new Little Big Planet 3D platformer. It's not really like Little Big Planet because there's no creation kind of aspect to it aside from like that you can like make costumes for your little sack person. There's no kind of like there's no custom levels, there's no custom kind of just like stuff like really, so that aspect of Little Big Planet's not there. It's more of just a straight 3D platformer, and that in that sense it's a solid game. Like it's fun and cute and enjoyable. But I think compared to Astro, it's a little more on the kind of like I don't know. It does get a little dull. I find like it's not a bad game at all, but like it does. It's kind of like a game I can play for maybe like a half an hour to an hour and be like, yeah, that was pretty fun, and then move on to something else. I guess kind of like Immortals in a sense, where like you're not gonna pay too much heed to like what's going on and like what's kind of
Right.
even just like the level designs in general, like they're just not super. They're not super crazy. There's some neat like I remember there were like there's like music levels in the game. So like say they'd play like Uptown Funk like, and you'd be like playing through the level to that song, and then the level
What?
would kind of vibe to it, which was cool. I liked that. There's actually quite a lot. There's quite a lot of levels like that in the game. Like, um, so and I don't know what to call them other than like just music levels. Like they're basically kind of like there's like a rhythm to the level, and it's kind of neat. Like it's a neat idea. I haven't seen that really done in many platformers, so I was like that's actually a pretty cool idea. But a lot of the levels you're just kind of like your typical kind of like 3D platforming. Like it kind of reminds me of the level design really reminds me of Mario 3D World, but it doesn't have that. It obviously doesn't have that kind of Nintendo level of polish, and just just inventiveness to the level design. But it's a decent little game. I enjoyed what I've played of it. And like visually it looks great. It's very vibrant and colorful, and like the game does have charm. And I think it's like if you like platformers, it's probably worth a go. It's worth playing. It's not like there's a ton in terms of platformers that are on PS5. It's not like you have a ton of choice. Obviously, there's tons of PS4 games, sure, but if we're talking strictly PS5 games, like Sackboy is a pretty good choice, I think.
What's the price of it?
I think Sackboy is. I think it's a €70 game. I think it's not full.
You think it's worth it?
If you, I think it's a decently long game. Like I think it's like 15 hours to beat, which I know you could say like, oh, Miles Morales was like 15 to 100%, but I mean with Sackboy, it'd probably be like 12 to 15 just to beat the game. You wouldn't have everything done. And there's like multiplayer, like I know there's online co-op, there's like levels that are specifically made to be played on multiplayer. You know, there's a decent amount of bang for your buck. Like I think you'll get a decent, if you enjoy the gameplay, you'll get a decent amount out of it. But at the same time, it's like, I think there are better platformers that you can get for that money, you know, or you could probably even get like a couple for that money. So, I suppose it depends on what you're looking for in your platformers. Like if you want something that's like akin to, I guess like a Mario 3D World style kind of game that's like, you can play it with 4 people and like, you know, just have fun. It's pretty good. I like it. I think if you're playing it by yourself, there's better choices. As a single player game, it's like, it's enjoyable, but it's not the best. I'd probably just recommend Crash 4 or something. As frustrating as that game can be, it's really good your first time through. I think that game's also on, like, that game's on PS5 now. So you get those PS5 features and stuff. So like if I could think of a platformer to recommend off the top of my head, I'd be like, yeah, Crash 4, or you know, maybe like I forget whatever platformers are on PS5. Maybe like Shovel Knight or like Cuphead or something. You know, games like that, they're obviously a lot cheaper. So,
or give Astro a try.
Exactly, Astro. But I would assume most people, you know, if you're getting a PS5, you probably played Astro.
Sure, yeah. If you haven't,
exactly,
give it a try.
Yeah, it's well worth playing if you haven't.
Is that it for games we've played? You have anything else want to talk about?
Play Bug Snacks. I don't have much to say about that one. Just kind of a, I don't know. The bit I played, I haven't finished it. I played like 2 hours. Seemed cute. Like I like, but with some kind of more serious kind of like undertones as you like play the game, because it's kind of like a mystery game, like in a lot of ways. But it was neat little game. I liked the I kind of like the just like the visuals, and like the gameplay is fun, like trapping different like monsters and stuff, like little you know, the food monsters and stuff, and trapping them is fun and all that, but there's not really a whole lot to say. And I played what else? It was on Maneater as well, because I was on PS Plus. That game kind of sucks, but I did finish it. I think it was the first PS5 game I did finish, because it was just a very easy game to like. That's the definition of a game you just don't like. You're not paying attention when you're playing it. Like you just kind of have it on in the background. But yeah, I played that. Not much to say. It ran pretty okay. But I definitely remember there being frame drops. But I think that's just the port not being very good. Then.
Oh, so there's an actual like PS5 version.
Yeah, it's the PS5 version of Maneater. Because it was put on like it was put on PS Plus, and like they advertised it like that it was only because while there is like a PS4 version of it, you couldn't get the PS4 version on Plus because they were like, nope, this is strictly PS5. I think I grabbed it like the day that they removed it. Like I think like right before they got rid of it, and I was like, yes, I get to play this game, awesome. Yeah, really? And it was really mediocre, but hey, you know, it's a free game, I guess. I can't really complain all that much. And I think that's about it in terms of what I played. Obviously, I've played some like PS4 games, trying out like, you know, seeing the performance. Like I played Infamous Second Son, which I believe was unlocked, had an unlocked frame rate on PS4, so it could go as high as, you know, like maybe like 40 FPS on there. But on PS5, like I'm pretty sure that game is 60. It feels super smooth to play. It feels really good, and like considering that's a game from 2014, I was like, this is held up really well. You know, I tried a few things. I tried like GT Sport, that already ran pretty decent on PS4. It just runs a little bit better on PS5 in terms of like loads a little faster, all that. But the frame rate was always pretty rock solid in that game. I tried Knack. Because of course I did. That that game also was like unlocked on PS4, runs perfectly smooth on PS5. So if you want 60 FPS knack, well, you know the €500 machine to buy.
You got it,
you
baby.
got it, baby. You know, you have it in the bag. And they also recently patched Ratchet and Clank 2016, a game I have kind of mixed feelings on. But to be fair, playing that on PS5 with the 60 FPS patch, I was like, wow, this feels really good. Say what you want about like the game itself, but the performance is really solid. Just felt really nice to play. What have you tried in that sense, Nathan?
I've tried Ghost of Tsushima for a little bit, and it's just like immediately you feel, wow, this is way
I can
smoother.
imagine. I mean, that's gonna be how I play Ghost of Tsushima once I get to it.
Yeah, lucky you. Like, it wasn't like a bad 30 FPS game, but it dropped a bit here and there. But yeah, immediately I was like, this is class.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
And I played like maybe half an hour of that, then I jumped on to Days Gone, and kind of just same story, like just feel smoother.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just about it. Like, it's just I hope we see more. Like, I might try the I know God of War 2018 got kind of like a boost in FPS. I might go back to that and try that.
We all know the one that you want.
Yeah, Bloodborne, which is just kind of like, is it gonna happen, or are they gonna just do like a full on kind of like remaster? I don't know, or like a PC port.
I think the problem is that they could absolutely get away with it. If they did that, like if they charged for a PS5 like remaster,
I'd buy it. I don't care. I'd buy it. Absolutely buy it.
Fucking chill, but I understand. You love the game, so it's understandable.
Yeah.
It just annoys me when like companies do that. Like that game, that game Judgment from like the Yakuza. It's like
there's no, you have to like buy the new PS5 version. You don't just get like an upgrade, which is kind of weird. Like, I get it because maybe it's a few years old, and it's not. It's
not a very old game though.
I maybe because it's not like mainline Yakuza, and like I know 7 got the free upgrade, like, but it's weird. Like,
I guess it's like, why do people that already bought it on PS4 have to pay an extra 40 to get like a 60 FPS boost? Oh, apparently it has. Does it have like some DLC or something? It's like, oh wow, sick! I really want to pay €40 for that. It's
maybe because it's on like a kind of first party studio.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, because that's probably Sega's decision, or whatever,
maybe.
or maybe like the Ryuga Gotoku, like the studio that makes Yakuza.
Yeah.
I'd assume it was probably like a Sega decision more than likely. But it's bizarre. Or like Tony Hawk was one that's like even weirder, because like they were like, oh, you get a PS5 upgrade, but you have to pay like a tenner. It's like, why do I have to pay extra for that? I guess it's only a tenner, but it's like, why do I have to pay extra? That's like it's bizarre. Like, I don't, because
is there even like an Xbox like upgrade option? You just buy the game again.
I don't know in terms of Tony Hawk. I know with PlayStation you have to pay an extra tenner to get the PlayStation 5.
I thought there was something weird with that game on Xbox.
Maybe with Xbox it's just smart delivery. If that's the case, great.
I don't think it's actually on that.
I'd imagine
I think it's
not.
like a different kind of.
I'd assume it isn't, like, but because Activision would definitely find a way to try and like slip by that and be like, we can make a little bit extra dough, like. I don't. But then I don't understand, because Crash 4 is a free upgrade. You get a free PS5 upgrade for that. Like, you don't have to.
It's just a weird kind of case by case basis.
I guess maybe they're like, oh, people won't pay a tenner for a Crash 4 upgrade, but they will pay a tenner for a Tony Hawk upgrade.
Yeah, it's just. It's weird. I don't know. It's just. It seems like what they're doing.
But it's like okay, cool. Like, and they know how good Tony Hawk did, but then they're like, yeah, okay, that's cool. Now let's absorb Vicarious Visions, the fucking people who did the remaster or remake, and absorb them into like Blizzard. So now they just make Blizzard games. There won't be any. Will they just not make any more Tony Hawk remakes or remasters? It's like, or just games, like, But
Who
I just
knows?
don't understand that because I was like, wasn't that game was like really successful? Like it did really well, and then they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna dump it. But whatever. That just kind of pisses me off. Um, but most like it's cool just to try like PS4 games that didn't run like the best on the original hardware and just like go back to them and be like, wow, they feel great to play now. Like they actually feel good
Yeah.
to play now. I want to try one. I want to try is Final Fantasy 15 because I remember that game had a lot of issues on. I know it had a ton of issues on base PS4, but even on PS4 Pro, it definitely had issues. So like I know that game's on PC, like I have it on PC, but I'd like to try it on PS5 just to see how it compares. Because I remember that did have like different performance modes. Or like Jedi Fallen Order is one that might that's one I think of that might benefit from just being on PS5. So, but it's just cool. It's always cool with like going back to an old generation like through backwards compatibility and just seeing how those games run now. So yeah, just something cool to mention. Like PS4 games and PS5 thumbs up from what I've tried. Tried so far.
It, it's pretty cool. Next topic is upcoming PS5 games we are excited for. Not really a lot that we know about yet.
Yeah. I mean, it's like what's what's on the horizon. I mean, say like this. It's like this month. Yeah, Horizon. It's like this month. We got what is it like Returnal, which it's like a game I'd like to be excited for. What I'm not excited for is the price. Like I'd be interested in that game if it was like maybe
60 probably, maybe 50,
yeah,
60.
maybe like it's the fact it's from I'm sure House is like Housemarque. I think it's like
Something like
Housemarque.
that.
But it's like the guys that made like Resogun, and you're just like, yeah, cool. Like Resogun was a fine game, but like is it the kind of thing where like you think they can charge €80 for their new IP? Like it just doesn't scream AAA to me. And it doesn't like Returnal looks impressive enough in terms of visuals and stuff, but I just don't think it's something where I'm willing to pay 80. I'm just not willing to pay it. If it was like an established studio or established IP, like I could understand paying 80 for Horizon or Ratchet and Clank or God of War because those are proven franchises by proven developers and all that. And I'm not saying Housemarque doesn't have games under their belt that are well received or whatever, but it's just hard to. I think that game's a really hard sell, to be honest. I hope it does well. I hope it's good, but like it's just I like it's like we're talking about upcoming games we're excited about, and here's an upcoming game I'm feeling tepid about, but it's I can't help it like because it's out this month, like it's really close, so it was kind of one of the first ones to come to mind for me. But one I actually am really excited for because it's out. I think closest after is like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I'm quite excited for that. I do have concerns like about that game because I just Ratchet and Clank I think has been a series of like a lot of ups and downs over the years. But I'm hoping this one will be a home run. The gameplay demo they showed off was really impressive, and like every time I look at it, and I really want to play this game. I really want this in my hands.
It looks gorgeous.
Oh, it looks incredible. Yeah, it looks absolutely fantastic. And just like I don't know, like seeing like the just seeing like these like characters that have been around for so long, like in such high fidelity. Like I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Ratchet and Clank is Sony's longest running franchise. Like it's like that's still going, I think.
Wow.
I
Incredible.
don't because like I'd say God of War is the only other one from like PS2 era that's like stuck around. I can't think of anything else. Like they stopped making. There's no Jack and Daxter coming out. There's no Sly Cooper. There's no like Twisted Metal. Like stuff like that's been gone.
GT?
Oh yeah, Gran Turismo. Maybe? You're right. I forgot about Gran Turismo, but that's because they come out like so sporadically. Like it's always like
infrequently.
it's always
like,
every 5 or 6 years. Though I am excited for GT7. But yeah, Rift Apart looks great. I'm super excited, like super jazzed to get that. But again, the fact it's €80, it's like, man, I do want to get it really bad, but it's like, man, it's a steep price. I hope it's a decent length. Like I hope it runs, a good amount of time, like 15 hours or so. That'd be on the pretty long That'd be on the long end for like a Ratchet and Clank game, I think. But I'm pretty excited for that one. And then I assume Horizon is probably coming up after that.
I think it's kind of the big fall.
Yeah. Do you think
if God of War doesn't come out?
Yeah, you think God of War is gonna get delayed? I think it's gonna get delayed.
Yeah.
I'm really not sure why.
Maybe like early.
I'm not sure. Like maybe it could, but I'm just like I'm not sure why Sony even went. Yeah, guys, it's coming to 2021. Like it's like winter. It's like Ragnarok is coming 2021. It's like, yeah, all right, I'll buy that when I see it. Like,
yeah.
I was really surprised when they said that. I was like, I don't know. I just think with the situation and also just with like Horizon, maybe Horizon will be like an August September game, and then like God of War will be like a November game. They could do that. Like I don't think that's impossible. You could have two. Like it's not impossible to have two big games release the same season. Like Sony's done that plenty of times. So, we'll have to wait and see. Like, but I mean, it's not absolutely like far fetched that you could have Horizon come out. I'm gonna say like September, and then have God of War release like November, December, maybe.
I just think we would have seen like a trailer for God of War by now if it was going to call this year.
I mean, they could be saving it for E3, or like around like that period, not E3, but you know what I mean, like that.
I know, but then do the whole kind of like Fallout 4 thing where like you show it 5 months before and then release it.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, maybe that's not impossible.
You
don't see
just
Sony
like,
doing that.
For like,
I get it.
Yeah, it's just for like 2018. You got like a good kind of 2 years of seeing the game.
But they might have felt like they might.
Maybe they want this big reveal.
Yeah. Like maybe they just want to be like, yeah, it's coming. Here's the game. This is what it looks like, and it's out really soon. There's a chance. Like I don't think it's impossible. I mean, sure, like a lot of the games that we saw, like from PS5's reveal event, it was like 5 months before release, like Demon's Souls and
I guess,
and I get they're kind of like smaller.
Yeah. That's like also a launch kind of title.
Yeah, exactly.
You
But I'm just saying, it's like it's not impossible that.
It's just maybe COVID soon might push it back. Like you don't know. Like
damn.
So up in the air.
We're demonetized.
Oh fuck! Damn it, Susan. I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter.
But like I know. But like it just could be pushed back. Like you know.
Yeah, we have to wait and see. But like I'm feeling like kind of trepidation, I suppose, going into, with God of War, like whether or not it's going to make this year or not. I don't mind because I'm just like, look, I haven't even played 2018 yet, so like whenever they have a concrete date, that's when I know, okay, I gotta get that game done. Like,
I mean that is like probably the game I'm looking forward the most from. Like kind of the foreseeable future. That's just PS5 games. Yeah. There's not really much else we know about.
What else is kind of on your radar? Like that you can.
Like stuff like Deathloop. That's
of course, Deathloop.
Tokyo Ghostwire, same situation. That's coming to PC.
I think Tokyo Ghostwire is coming to PC. Yeah.
Elden Ring, but that's obviously like every console.
Yeah.
And I get that on
Elden
PC
Ring is definitely gonna be on PC. I'd be surprised if it wasn't on Switch on PC. But
that's kind of it for me of what I kind of want to see, or what I'm excited for.
Final Fantasy 16. I'm looking forward to seeing more of. That's definitely on my radar because I'm pretty sure that's PS4 or PS5 launch exclusive. Or I think it only comes out in PS5
console exclusive, isn't it?
For like a year or whatever. So it's definitely seems like Final Fantasy as a franchise. It's like in they're in bed with Sony on those games, like Square Enix. Because like same with FF7 remake, that's still not on other platforms yet. I thought that would have been, I thought we would have gotten an announcement for like an Xbox
I was just gonna say, yeah,
or a PC version, but still nothing yet. Maybe
I mean, it could just come to Game Pass one day.
just
Wouldn't be
randomly,
surprised.
yeah. It's like, oh, it's on Game Pass, also on PC now.
Yeah, they'll make
it's
like
on
a tweet
PC.
about
Oh,
it,
how do we get it? Epic Games. Oh. I mean, it's just used to it at this point, but it's like, man, it sucks. But
it's on Uplay only.
It's on, or it's only on was it EA Access or whatever, like whatever Origin's called now. Jesus. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's only on Bethesda launcher.
I was just gonna say it's only on Rockstar launcher.
This is a random fucking launcher, like. It's like it's only on Bell.net. Yeah, I don't know, like it's but like Final Fantasy 16, like that's definitely on my radar. I'm definitely looking forward to that. There's just like indies and stuff, like Little Devil Inside looks good. Solar Ash looked interesting, but like, there's again, those
Kena
Bridges Through It, yeah.
It was a Kena.
I'm actually really looking forward to that. Well, I think that's on PC, but I'll probably play it on PS5. To be fair.
Oh, is it? Oh,
I think it's Epic Games, so I'm probably gonna get it on PS5. Also, because I think it's like a 40. It's like a €40 game, which is like, okay, I can stomach that price.
And it's something to play in your PS5.
Yeah, exactly. But like regardless, like even if it was like 50, 60, I'd be like, yeah, I'd probably get it. Like I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Yeah, for like an indie, like a pretty small kind of indie title, it looks incredibly good.
It looks like a Pixar.
Yeah, it's practically on that level, like Pixar DreamWorks, whatever. It looks super good. I'm quite excited for that. You said I assume you're getting it on PC, but I remember you said you were quite excited for Mass Effect, like Legendary Edition or whatever it's called.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
are you gonna get that on PC?
I'll see. It might be something to play on my PS5.
It's a third-person shooter. Like that'll probably translate better to controller.
I'm using controller
exactly.
anyway.
That'll translate better.
And maybe they might do some cool stuff with the haptic feedback. So
that might be one to think about. To be fair, like I mean, as I said, like Gran Turismo 7, I'm looking forward to. There's, I don't know. There's like that Hogwarts Legacy game. It's like Gotham Knights. And that even though we've seen nothing of it, like actually that there's like that Suicide Squad game as well by Rocksteady, which I only just remember that's like even a thing, to be honest, because I think it's just a CG trailer, so it's like, how can I get excited? But yeah, I don't know, like I mean, it's like, is there anything else in like the pipeline that we know about? I know there's some. Isn't there like some secret, like there's like a new studio that Sony put together that's like working on some like secret project? I don't know if you.
Oh, is the one with Jade Redmond as head of it?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think it's that one, maybe.
Where she can actually find.
Yeah, isn't it supposed to be? I don't know if it's like an IP, like an established one, or is it like a new game?
I think she was called Haven or something like that, and they're making like
a new IP, right?
For PlayStation, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder what that's gonna be, because I feel like I heard something about some other studio. It's like they were supposed to be working on like a new Uncharted or something, but I could be wrong.
Maybe, I don't know. I know they bought some studio like a while ago, or like at a at a different studio in California to like work on like a Uncharted game.
I think that's what I was referring to. It's like a studio in California. Yeah. And apparently they might be doing like some Uncharted. So I don't know.
I've heard it before. Yeah.
Yeah. Which cool if they are. I assume.
Because it's like, what does Naughty Dog do next? Do you do like a new IP, or like straight away to like a Last of Us 2 sequel?
I mean, yeah, the most I could see is either a new IP or a new Last of Us. I doubt they're gonna make like
Yeah.
It's like, oh, let's make Jack 4. I kind of doubt that. I kind of doubt they're gonna do that. So I think it's gonna be either like Last of Us, Part 3, or probably like a new IP. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But that will.
I assume like a new IP because
You think Last of Us is kind of done? Like you think they're?
I mean, I don't.
Oh
give a
yeah,
shit
I know.
about
I know
Last
you
of
don't
Us.
care, but I'm only saying in a sense like,
Yeah.
do you think Last of Us?
I
Do you see? Could you see them making like another one?
Yeah.
I feel like they could.
Because
yeah.
it's like the most awarded game in history, so of course like Neil
they'll-
Druckmann's gonna be
Yeah,
gagging to get
he'll
another
pull a
one
reason
going.
out of his ass to like make another game,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it might be.
We need these characters to suffer even more, just because. I mean, to make my staff suffer too, even more.
It's like that game has merit in some ways, but in others, it's like I don't know. I kind of wish it wasn't so handsomely rewarded.
It doesn't deserve
just
it.
compared to some other games, like, but it does have merit in a lot of ways at the same time, but yeah, I mean.
Technically, it's extremely
from
impressive.
A technically standpoint,
Yeah.
I think it's the best looking game on PS4.
I think from like a writing standpoint, I don't.
Yeah,
respect
no, that's fair. I think from like I just think audio visual wise, it's pretty fucking it's pretty stellar.
Wizards.
Yeah, it's pretty
Wizards
stellar. Even like it does look like the gameplay could be alright. Because I did like enjoy Uncharted 4 a lot, and it seems to take some cues from that in just terms of like movement and stuff. But yeah, I don't see them doing like another Uncharted like Naughty Dog. I assume if Uncharted continues, that's going to be like another studio. I think you can do more with it though, definitely. Yeah, exactly. Like explore some of the other characters. I thought Lost Legacy was great, so I wouldn't mind seeing more stuff like that. But yeah, I assume like that's it. I mean, do you see, in terms of predictions, like what do you see them? Do you see them announcing anything, or just have hopes for what they'd announce in the next year before we kind of close things?
I think probably next year they might announce the next Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
But and then it might be like 2 years off kind of thing. For kind of actual kind of games coming out.
Bloodborne 2.
In my dreams. Actually a tough one. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Even if you want to say that, just like as a hope. But then again, I know you said that you're not sure if you even want that. So
yeah,
which is understandable.
I would not want any other studio except From Software to make a Bloodborne sequel. And of course, they are busy trying to make Elden Ring into an actual game, because I don't think that game is even real half the time. Even though we saw leak footage, though, I
don't believe it.
I don't believe it until I see it.
That's not fucking real. Yeah, I get you.
Maybe like it's way too early, but like a Ghost of Tsushima sequel, something like that.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I've no real kind of predictions for like what's coming up. I just have to kind of just sit back and see what they give me.
That's understandable. Yeah, I'd probably be the same in terms of predictions. Like, I mean, it's like Ghost of Tsushima 2. Yeah, it'll probably get announced. I think that's a ways off. Like, that probably won't be announced till like, I'm gonna say like 2023 or something.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2 I could definitely see getting announced next year. And then releasing, I could see it release in like a year, maybe like 2023, because like that'd be like 5 years after the first one, and it's like, yeah, I think that's plausible, but
maybe because of like Miles and Ratchet, it might take a bit longer.
Little longer.
Yeah,
maybe, yeah, no, that's true. So we'll have to wait and see. I think in terms of what Naughty Dog will do next, I think it's hard to say. I'm gonna go on my gut and say they'll probably do like, I think they will do Last of Us 3. I think they will. Just cause like, again, as you said, like it was kind of such a, I guess like such a darling at like award shows, and it sold really well and all that. So I think they will probably just do that. Maybe like a new IP. But we'll see. And
I've one prediction that's not to do with like games. I think Sony are gonna buy like Blue Point Games.
Oh yeah. No,
Like,
they have
this is
to.
nailed on. If this year, probably gonna buy him outright. Like,
Yeah, if they were gonna buy a company, I think they'll buy Blue Point.
yeah,
I mean, it's like a great get.
yeah,
Because it's like I can at least be like, I know I'm not like. I don't like the whole like monopolization of like, oh, Microsoft, can you like buy Sega? I don't want that. I really don't want that.
please Microsoft buy Sega.
Yeah, because a lot of people want that, and I don't. I
So
really
I
don't
can
want
get
that.
Persona on Game Pass.
Yeah, I really don't. I really, really don't want that.
Yeah, I don't want a monopoly at all.
Like I can't imagine like, oh, Sonic, it's only on Xbox.
So weird. It's like
Yeah, it'd be so strange.
I still find the whole Bethesda acquisition like mind blowing. Like,
I
Bethesda.
can't get over that.
It's like
Hopefully
buying
that's
like
as far as I
fucking
go.
like it's like buying I don't know like fucking like I don't know Ubisoft maybe are they worth that much?
Take-Two. My God.
Yeah,
We own GTA now.
Yeah.
Fuck. Christ.
I know, but
making GTA Xbox exclusive. Christ.
I know Bethesda
Um,
were like kind of a smaller publisher in comparison to like Ubisoft, but like still like
They're pretty. They're sizable though. They're
it's
quite
just their
sizable.
IPs are huge. Like
I think their IPs are bigger than any of Ubisoft's.
yeah,
At
Right.
least they're like if we're talking, and I know Assassin's Creed probably arguably has sold more than definitely. I would say it's definitely sold more than Fallout. I wonder if a single Assassin's Creed has sold more than Skyrim. I kind of doubt it.
Skyrim sold 30 million copies by itself.
Yeah, I kind
I
of doubt
think
any
Fallout 4
Assassin's Creed.
sold 20.
Yeah, Fallout. I forgot Fallout was. Yeah, I forgot Fallout 4 was still
Fallout
pretty big.
4 is fucking really big game. Really big game.
Yeah, I forgot that game was actually quite big.
I think Valhalla is their biggest selling Assassin's Creed game, so I'm not sure if that's to clip 20 million copies. I think Fallout 4 might be a bigger game.
Yeah, I think the best Assassin's Creed would do is probably like 15.
Yep.
Maybe more. I think as a franchise, it's probably sold more than those combined, but that's
Maybe
because they won't-
Siege has sold more than like Fallout
Yeah.
by itself. Siege is fucking humongous.
But I think like Assassin's Creed as a whole has probably sold more than those two franchises, maybe. But that's because, as I said, they put like 10 games out every week, like, so it's just
Yeah.
I don't know. There's like so many
30
Assassin's
in the works
Creeds.
right now.
Yeah, there's probably like they're probably making like 7 games as we're talking right now, like. So they really pumped those games out.
Assassin's Creed in X country, like write that down.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed in
Ireland.
In Ireland, yeah. Assassin's Creed in Assassin's Creed in Britain.
Madagascar.
Assassin's Creed in Madagascar, yeah. I don't know. It's just, but it's like it's such a like them having Bethesda is still pretty crazy. It's hard to kind of get over it. I think.
Sony can never do that, ever.
Yeah, exactly. I would like. Could Sony make like an acquisition that big? Like I
don't think so.
I think the best they could do is probably like
Square Enix.
I don't think so.
No, we're missing no way.
Yeah. People were saying Konami. I don't fucking think so. I don't think Konami is possible because like Konami isn't just they don't just do games. They do like tons of stuff. Like apparently like the pachinko business. And
I
all
feel
that
like
stuff.
they could buy their IPs.
Maybe the thing is would Konami want to sell them?
But what the fuck are they doing with them otherwise, you know?
Well, that's the thing. Like they're like, oh, we can milk like 500 more pachinko machines out of it, you know.
I guess.
Or they might be just like twiddling their thumbs.
I
and they're
mean,
like,
they could buy the rights to make games, but then Konami could keep the right to make their fucking pachinko machines. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I just don't think they'd give them up. Like, so I don't see that. Like in terms of Sony, like I can't really think of any company that like they'll acquire or like publisher or whatever. Like all the ones I can think of like they're just too big.
I don't think they really need to. I think they have enough studios to kind of keep them.
Yeah, but they have the exclusives. Like they have the games that they
thing.
built themselves. Yeah. Like whereas like Microsoft, I think the reason they bought exclusives is because all we could think throughout like Xbox One generation was like, wow, Halo, Forza, Gears is really all they have, huh?
Yeah.
Like they really didn't have much in the way of like franchises that generation. Like I think, there's franchises I'd associate more with Xbox, like Dead Rising. I always considered more of an Xbox franchise, or what else was like more
Elder
Xbox kind
Scrolls,
of.
I've always thought
Yeah,
more.
Bethesda games
Yeah,
in general,
they
I
do.
think.
Yeah, it makes sense why they would buy them. To be honest.
Yeah, Bethesda games I always thought were like
Yeah.
Xbox first. Even Ubisoft games I kind of always felt were more Xbox
Call of
oriented.
Duty as well for a long time before like they had to deal with the Sony. Remember?
Yeah, yeah, people would be playing Call of Duty on
Yeah,
Xbox.
kind of peak Call of like FIFA 2.
Yeah, that's what we were. Yeah, because like we were used to just people saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm playing Call of Duty on Xbox,"
Yeah, yeah.
or you just hear it like in like ads and stuff. Like they'd be advertising it for Xbox
Yeah,
usually.
yeah. But
It's yeah, I get you, but like it just felt like for a while, the Xbox One was like the Halo, Gears, Forza machine, and there was like practically nothing else. They tried with some exclusives like Crackdown or like Sea of Thieves, but they just I know that game's better now, but like it's just they didn't really set the world on fire like. So I can understand like Microsoft kind of going out of their way to acquire like way more studios.
I would be
Um,
shocked if Starfield is not an Xbox exclusive. It has to be.
I'd say it probably will be.
It's like, what's the
Unless,
point?
unless they had deals in place already, that's the only thing.
Maybe, but I don't know. I don't know.
Because I do wonder, like, did they have like a deal to be like, oh, maybe like I'm not saying that they did have any deals with Sony or whatever, but do you know the way like Deathloop and like Ghostwire apparently.
I'm going to
that's-
assume Sony went to them and asked them, but I wonder if they were like, no, not for this game.
Yeah, they might have been like, nah, not Starfield is.
Because it is weird that an arcane game is exclusive to PlayStation for a year, which is just like, okay, it's just fine bizarre.
Yeah, it's and they're still like obviously Microsoft's holding up their end of the bargain on that.
Which is,
So we'll see how that pans out.
but for Xbox, like, the games are coming. The games are
yeah,
coming. So,
exactly, they're coming, but it's just how long is it gonna take?
maybe a year or two, probably. Like,
Yeah,
we'll see.
I mean, I saw a fake leak for it was like a fake leak for fucking Halo Infinite. It was like a fake, like, oh, the game's April Fools, like, oh, it's delayed till summer 2022.
Kotaku.
Before I saw the check mark, I was like, oh my god. I kind of believed it for a minute, and then I was like, oh,
Did
they
you
only
see
had
that
like
Kotaku actually covered the article? Or that?
Yeah, they did. They
Fucking
did.
Kotaku, man.
They just didn't look at it. They just were
Yeah.
like, oh, it's delayed. Well, yeah, that's gaming journalism at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. Like, yeah,
Is
not
that it?
great.
Is that all we have to say on PS5?
Yeah, we've went on quite a while. I guess it's just, it is. Even though we're quite early in, we still have quite a lot to say.
Exactly, yeah.
It's because like, well, it's a new generation. Like, of course, you're gonna have quite a bit to express about it. So, it's interesting to talk about.
My kind of final take on the PS5 is it is a pretty cool console. If you can get one, go for it, I think. Because
Yeah,
I think Demon's Souls is almost worth it alone.
if the games look anyway fascinating to you, and like if
Yeah.
the and just like if in some of the future stuff coming out looks interesting, and like you do get the chance to like get your hands on a PS5, despite its issues, because
Yes.
it does have some issues. I do think it's worth investing in one. I think it's worth picking one up. The performance is great. Like, if you have a big old backlog or like ton of PS4 games to play, then you'll be able to play them at higher fidelity and like higher frame rates and stuff. At least for the games that support that, and it's great. Like, and you'll get your faster load times and like stuff like that. One thing as well, I wish the SSD was a little bigger. I think it's a little small.
Oh yeah, how could we forget about that?
If you're a Call of Duty fan, well, good luck. But I do think for the price you get a really strong machine with
Pretty beefy.
pretty beefy machine with some great games. Like you got Astro's Playroom packed in. Demon Souls well worth getting. Miles Morales is pretty good, maybe a little pricey, but it's a good game. We didn't even all this talk about exclusives. We didn't even mention, and because there's like so little to talk about, I suppose regarding it. We didn't even mention Destruction All Stars. All I can say about that game is, it's a game that exists that you can play.
Video game, yeah.
Yeah, it's a game that exists.
Certainly one of those.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like a
but
5 out of 10.
If all you like play is like FIFA, just maybe wait.
Yeah. If you don't play, if you look at games like Demon Souls, Miles Morales, go, not for me.
Yeah, maybe wait.
And the future kind of games coming out, the games of the Horizon, like Returnal, Ratchet and Clank, like they're not doing a whole lot for you.
Yeah.
Then maybe wait till the end of the year, or like next year, or just whenever the console kind of starts to look a little more appealing, and some of the kinks are kind of ironed out with like the UI and maybe some of the weird controller issues and stuff. Despite how the DualSense is great, don't get me wrong, just can have its quirks. But yeah, just give it some time, see how things pan out. I mean, it's being an early adopter always has its risks, I think. In terms of just like the console, just little things that can be irritating or like malfunction or whatever. But it's cool to dive in early, and like I do think, and like I'm not having any serious issues with it yet. So I do think it's something where if it looks appealing to you, then by all means, go for it. So, yeah, it's PS5.
It's PS5. So I think that's it for this episode.
Pretty much, yeah.
Thanks for listening, and hope to catch you next one. Thanks.
Yeah, see you around.